Chapter 5189. The 10,000 Dragon Dynasty quickly gave the order and countless resources gathered. They went all out to revive the 10,000 Dragon diagram. 10,000 dragons roared and swept across the 9 heavens. At this moment, they flew high into the sky and the entire buried Emperor star sensed it. They looked up at the sky and saw countless dragon phantoms galloping in the sky. They were shocked. Heavens, it was the 10,000 dragon diagram. The apex weapon was fully revived. At this moment, countless living beings prostrated on the ground. They didn't dare to believe it. Had the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty gone crazy? Who were they attacking this time? The people from the Tao sect and Divine Union were terrified. Were they targeting them? These people were facing a great enemy. On the other side, on the Demon Emperor Mountain, Yen Ryu and Monkey were also shocked. They had also revived their Emperor weapons and activated their apex weapons. The Phoenix Clan. Murong Qingqing's expression changed and she quickly summoned the Desolate Tower. The other Emperor clans, such as the Yi Clan and the Gu Clan, did the same. They used their apex weapons to defend. Those who didn't have their apex weapons activated their peerless array. This was because no one knew what the other party was trying to do. In their opinion, it should be Lin Xian or someone related to Lin Xian. However, they were soon stunned because they discovered that the 10,000 Dragon diagram had fully revived. It was attacking the outer realm. What was going on? Were there experts in the outer realm? Everyone was stunned. They didn't understand. The 10,000 Dragon diagram's full power attack flew towards the outer realm and towards the sun. At this moment, flames swept across the sun. Previously, many people had already left. Because of the appearance of an Emperor Immortal pill, countless experts had gone to search for it. They had already left the sun. However, there were still some people who stayed here and had their eyes on Sun God Palace. However, at this moment, they discovered that countless dragon phantoms were rushing over. The aura they carried made them despair. No. These powerful sages couldn't hold on at all. They all prostrated on the ground. Some great sages roared crazily. Apex weapons. Damn it, who brought apex weapons here? Were they crazy? They didn't know that they didn't even have the chance to escape under such power. They could only pray in their hearts. The people in Sun God Palace also felt it. Among them, the Golden Fire Sage's face changed. Damn it, why does he have an extreme Tao aura? The remaining people in the Elixir Hall went crazy. Even Lin Xian's pupils shrank. 10,000 Dragons diagram. Damn it, it's you. The Golden Fire Saint turned around and looked at the Red Flame Dragon army. You lied to us. How dare you use the Myriad Dragons diagram? The Crimson Flame Dragon Monarch's light dimmed. He took out a scroll and crushed it. Endless void power enveloped him. Lin Wudi, go to hell. Boom. In the next instant, he disappeared. No. The Golden Fire Saint and the other experts had also gone crazy. Run quickly. The abominable dragon race. They now understood why the Flaming Dragon army had joined hands with them. He didn't want to share the treasures with them, but wanted them to pin down Lin Xian. That way, the other party could report the news to the family. Today's extreme weapons were the best proof. At this moment, they no longer cared about the martial monarch's ancient scriptures. All of them fled in a frenzy. His speed was extremely fast. Damn it. Lin Xian's face was cold. He knew that these people were dead meat. No one could escape. He knew the extreme weapons best, especially those that had fully awakened. To be honest, he didn't expect it either. He originally thought that even if he revealed his identity, it would take a long time for the Thousand Dragon Empire to kill him. But he didn't expect the Crimson Flame Dragon Monarch to have such a treasure. To be able to lock his position in an instant. To be able to escape in an instant. It seemed that in order to kill him, every expert of the Thousand Dragon Empire had many trump cards. Lin Xian's Great Dragon Sword Soul couldn't block the fully awakened power of the Monarch weapon. In the next moment, he took a deep breath and entered the Sword World. The moment the Sword World opened, the Hellfire Dragon also flew over. What a terrifying aura outside. Is it an extreme weapon? Lin Xian nodded. Would this world be able to withstand it? The Hellfire Dragon's expression changed. This world is fine, but you can't. The world can be preserved, but your body will be destroyed. Let's see if there are any other treasures in the Sun God Shrine. Lin Xian said that there was only one furnace, and there was a strand of God fire inside. The Hellfire Dragon said after seeing it. Quick, hide in the furnace first. Then enter the Sword World. Will it work? Lin Xian shook his head. Unless it was an extreme weapon, it would be hard to block it. There was no time to explain. Let's try it. I feel that this furnace is very magical. Would a great emperor use an ordinary pill furnace to refine pills? It was very likely that he made it himself. Alright, let's do it. Lin Xian took a deep breath, entered the furnace, and closed it. Then he entered the Sword World. In the next moment, an earth-shattering sound was heard. Endless cracks appeared on the sun. Those who were still in the sun instantly turned into a bloody mist. No matter if you were in the Great Sage middle stage or the Great Sage late stage, you wouldn't be able to block it. The people inside the Solar Divine Palace had originally wanted to escape from this attack. But when they saw this scene, they ran back frantically. Quickly enter the Divine Palace. This was the Great Emperor's palace. Perhaps it could block it. The Golden Fire Saint and the elders of the Sky Fire clan all ran back. They found a corner to hide in. The Sun Palace was naturally attacked by the extreme weapon. Endless flames appeared on it, sweeping through the 9 heavens. This was the palace built by the Great Emperor, and it had mysterious power. At this moment, the sun was already broken into pieces. But the palace still existed. After all, it was the full recovery of the extreme weapon. This divine palace was only one of the Great Emperor's palaces, so cracks appeared on it. Some places collapsed. The extreme weapon's power came in. The Sky Fire Elder and the others screamed and turned into a bloody mist. They no longer existed. No! The Golden Crow Saint roared crazily. His eyes were filled with despair. He wanted to escape, but in the next moment, he was also swallowed by the extreme weapon's aura. His body was broken into pieces. He died unwillingly. The remaining people all died. Even the Sun Palace couldn't protect them. The Sun Palace kept shattering. Many places were already broken into pieces. The extreme weapon's power swept in all directions. Soon, it rushed into the pill refining hole. With a clang, the dragon's phantom hit the cauldron. The cauldron was sent flying. The flames on it dimmed, but it didn't break. Just as the Hellfire Dragon said, this cauldron was called the Purple Sun Divine Cauldron. It was a cauldron personally made by the Great Emperor Ziyang for pill refining. Although it wasn't an extreme weapon, it was far superior to a sacred weapon. At this moment, under the extreme weapon's power, it actually blocked it. But this time, it wasn't an extreme weapon's power. More extreme weapon's power rushed in. The array and divine fire in the Sun God Shrine resisted with all their might. It consumed some extreme weapon's power. Chapter 5190. Boom! Boom! The sun kept shattering, and the sun god palace kept rumbling. It was torn apart. The purple sun divine furnace inside was violently impacted. Under the endless extreme power, the divine furnace also started to cave in, and many parts of it became unrecognizable. However, no one knew what material this divine furnace was made of. Even though many parts of it were caved in, there were no cracks. Lin Xian's blood was also boiling. Although he entered the sword world and could avoid most of the power, this sword world was very powerful. But this sword world was very mysterious. The sword world existed in his body. Therefore, he was different from the Hellfire Dragon and the others. He couldn't completely avoid it. This was also why the Hellfire Dragon let him enter the Purple Sun Divine Furnace. At this moment, Lin Xian was vomiting blood, and many cracks appeared on the 9-yang divine body. The Hellfire Dragon and the 4 spirit beasts were all nervous. "Kid, are you okay?" The Hellfire Dragon said, "Sit on the spring of life." Lin Xian quickly sat on the spring of life, and a powerful life force enveloped him. Those cracks were quickly repaired. Lin Xian roared crazily. This pain was even more terrifying than his heavenly tribulation. However, the Hellfire Dragon laughed. "Kid, you're really lucky." The 4 spirit beasts said, "Is he okay?" The Hellfire Dragon said, "Should be fine." Think about it, no matter how strong a person is, when faced with an extreme weapon, his soul would be instantly destroyed. Have you ever seen a body like this that kept breaking and recovering? This meant that the furnace outside blocked most of the extreme aura. Hearing this, the 4 spirit beasts laughed. They could finally be at ease. Although Lin Xian's miserable cry came from the sword world, his life wasn't in danger. The extreme aura between heaven and earth slowly disappeared, and many dents appeared on the Purple Sun Divine Furnace. However, it didn't break in the ruins. In the universe, countless people were shocked. They looked into the distance. There, flames soared into the sky, and the entire universe was illuminated. Heavens! What happened? Look, millions of dragon shadows, each of them hundreds of thousands of meters long, swept across heaven and earth. It covered the sky and the earth, enveloping the entire sun. The heavenly feather blade monarch's pupils shrank, and he exclaimed, "Damn it, this is an extreme weapon, the 10,000 dragons diagram." What? The others also exclaimed. 10,000 dragons court, did they attack with an extreme weapon? Could the solar energy be blocked? The 9 netherworld demon monarch and the others said. It was all thanks to that immortal pill that they managed to escape. At that moment, all of them were rapidly chasing after him. No one had been able to get their hands on the great emperor immortal pill. But now, they were rejoicing. If they had not chased after him and stayed on the sun, he would have died long ago. Damn it! Some of the clans and sects roared madly. Back then, they had sent a portion of their people to chase after him, while the rest remained on the sun. Didn't that mean they were all dead? However, no one dared to return. While these people were sighing, the people of the buried Emperor Star were stunned. What exactly was the 10,000 dragons imperial court attacking? They still don't know. The ancestors of the 10,000 dragon dynasty looked into the sky. Was this enough? At this moment, a figure appeared before them. It was the Crimson Flame Dragon Monarch. What do you think? The Red Flame Dragon Monarch asked. He had fully recovered, but the specific situation was unknown. Where was that Lin Wudi? The Red Flame Dragon Monarch said that it was in the Sun Palace, which was the Emperor's palace. When the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty's old ancestor heard this, his face turned cold. Launch a second attack. Old ancestor, once should be enough, right? The surrounding elders said. That's right, to fully recover once, even for our Emperor race, the consumption is too great. We can't afford it. The elders gritted their teeth. However, the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty's old ancestors said that the Emperor's palace could block a portion of it. Moreover, that kid had the Great Dragon Sword soul, so who knew if he could survive? If he fully recovered once more, no matter how many trump cards he had, he would definitely die. Don't worry, after this recovery, we won't use the 10,000 dragon diagram for a long time. The old ancestors also knew that they had used up a lot of their clan's resources over the years. They had to rest to replenish their resources. This was the last time they would go all out. Alright, we got it, those elders. They took out endless resources to activate the second full recovery of the 10,000 dragons. The light of the 10,000 dragons in the sky slowly disappeared. But at this moment, it suddenly exploded and swept through the 9 heavens. The clans and sects on the buried Emperor star went crazy. Heavens, the 10,000 dragon diagram fully recovered for the second time, and this attack was aimed at the outer region. Could it be that the other party was attacking the Sun God Palace? One had to know that something big had happened in the outer region. Only the Purple Sun Land Sun God Palace could do it. Perhaps the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty wanted to obtain the things inside the Sun God Palace. However, there were also people who thought that it was a joke. Even if they wanted to obtain it, they shouldn't have fully recovered. Under this attack, all treasures would vanish. They couldn't understand. In the outer region, the 9 Nether Demon Monarch, Heavenly Feather Saber Monarch, and other experts were still fighting for the Emperor's immortal pill. Suddenly, endless dragon roars sounded. 10,000 dragon shadows swept through the world once more. Everyone's blood boiled, and some people directly knelt on the ground in fear. Heavens, the extreme Tao weapon has recovered again. Is it attacking us? No, it's attacking the sun. What was on the sun that made the nest of 10,000 dragons so crazy? Even if you want the Sun God Palace, you don't have to do this, right? The shattered sun was attacked a second time and shattered into countless dust particles. The Sun God Palace was also completely shattered and could no longer hold on. In the ruins of the Sun God Palace, there were even more dents on the Purple Sun Divine Furnace. This time, it completely changed shape. As if it had turned into a pile of scrap metal. In the sword world, Lin Xian was no longer roaring crazily. The cracks on his body were also slowly disappearing. The Hellfire Dragon and the others heaved a sigh of relief. They knew that the power of the extreme Tao weapon outside had disappeared. But suddenly, Lin Xian's pupils constricted. He spat out a mouthful of blood. With a cracking sound, his body was torn into pieces, and an endless amount of golden dragon blood splattered between heaven and earth. What was going on? The sun spirit beast roared crazily. Even the Hellfire Dragon was stunned. This shouldn't be. With the spring of life, how could his body shatter? Could it be? Damn it, this was the second extreme Tao attack. The 10,000 Dragon Dynasty was really vicious. This time, it was going to be difficult. He waved his dragon claw and sealed the sky full of golden saint blood. Then, he waved his hand and those life gods all exploded, quickly providing power. Protecting Lin Xian's heart. Kid, it's up to you now. Even if that pill furnace could block the attack of the extreme Tao weapon once, it probably wouldn't be able to block the second attack. It was up to the heavens. After doing this, the Hellfire Dragon retreated to the side. The 4 spirit beasts were extremely nervous. Were they going to die? Chapter 5191. In the universe, the sun had already disappeared. The light between heaven and earth dimmed. The phantoms of the 10,000 dragons also slowly weakened, but there was still some power left. That place would probably become a land of death. It would no longer exist. It was over. 9 Underworld's Demon Monarch, Skyfeather Blade Lord, and the others all heaved a sigh of relief. The others also stood up. They looked at the Emperor Immortal Pill. They had to act quickly. If they were targeted by the 10,000 Dragons Court again, they would all die. They prepared to use their ultimate techniques. However, the pill shone brightly and suddenly spun and charged back. Not good, quickly stop it. 9 Underworld's Demon Monarch roared and unleashed the 9 Underworld's gate to seal heaven and earth. Sky Universe Blade Lord also unleashed a galaxy of blade light that shattered heaven and earth. However, it was useless. The pill tore everything apart and flew into the distance. Chase! These people chased crazily and soon stopped. Damn it, they didn't dare to go anymore. That was because the medicinal pill was flying back toward the sun. The sun was filled with extreme Tao energy. No matter how strong they were, they didn't dare to go there. Damn the pill, was it crazy? Why did it have to go back? He came from Sun God Palace. Sun God Palace was destroyed. Was he going to be buried with it? Countless crazy roars sounded. The 2 great sage lords also had ugly expressions. Let's go. 9 Underworld's Demon Monarch was very decisive. The current situation was too strange. He couldn't interfere anymore. Sky Feather Tao Lord struggled and soon turned to leave. The others also fled. It was better to return to their families and figure out what was going on. Buried Emperor Star. At this moment, it became a little dim. The sun had shattered and the surroundings fell into darkness, turning into night. The living beings on the buried Emperor Star were terrified. They felt a monstrous aura in the outer space that seemed to want to destroy the world. However, the remote antiquity families and great sects were frowning. What was the 10,000 Dragons Court doing? At this moment, a group of people who were alive in the outer space returned to their families. Patriarch, what happened? Why did the 10,000 Dragons Court attack the sun? That's right, are they crazy? When the 2 sides met and told each other what they knew, they were stunned. From the looks of it, the 10,000 Dragon Court had indeed attacked the Sun God Palace. According to the people who had returned, the Sun God Palace inside the Sun God Palace had probably ceased to exist. As for the Tianping race, the Violet Palace sex people were also gnashing their teeth. Damn it, did the immortal pill also disappear? You're saying that a pill flew out and then flew back. At this moment, everyone knew why the 9 Nether Demon Monarch and the others were still alive. It wasn't that these people could block the extreme grade weapon, but that they were lucky enough to dodge it. The clan leader of the Tianping race sighed. You are really lucky. As for the matter of the Great Emperor Pill, don't think about it anymore. By the time he returned, he would have already been reduced to ashes. Besides, even if it was in perfect condition, we wouldn't be able to enter with our strength. Only those monarch clans had such qualifications. If he wanted to go to the sun now, it would be useless unless he had a monarch weapon. Hearing the news from these people, the entire buried Emperor Star was shocked. After the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty's people received the news, they laughed loudly. It was to the extent where they personally sent people over to take a look, and they discovered that it really was the case. That place was split into pieces, and everything no longer existed. The old ancestor of the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty coldly snorted and announced to the world that Lin Woody was dead. He told the others to wait. You dare to go against the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty and kill our prince? This is your fate. We won't let a single one of you off. When this news spread out, the people of the buried Emperor Star were all stunned. Lin Woody was dead. When? Wait, could it be that Lin Woody was at Sun God Palace? They thought of a possibility and quickly confirmed that Lin Woody had gone to Sun God Palace. Now, they finally understood why the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty had attacked Sun God Palace without caring about anything else. So it was to kill Lin Wudy. Damn it, the people of our family were actually buried with Lin Wudy. The people of the Golden Crow race gritted their teeth. The other ancient families and peerless sects were also roaring. This was because half of the people they sent didn't return. These were all top experts. How could they not feel heartache when they saw them die just like that? Some people were puzzled. Lin Wudy was so strong. How could he die? He had a lot of trump cards in his hands. What? The Divine Union shook their heads. Impossible. Boss Lin definitely wouldn't die. Yi Wudao and the others also frowned. That kid should be fine, right? Monkey and Yen Ryu also frowned. However, the dragon race of the Black Sea roared. Damn it! The dark red dragon's eyes turned red. He had Lin Xian's soul jade token in his hand. However, cracks had already appeared on the soul jade tablet. What did this mean? Was Lin Xian dead? Damn it! The leader of the Black Sea Dragon said. That shouldn't be the case. Young Master Lin had the Great Dragon Sword Soul. Could it be that he couldn't block it? The Toad said that what was the use of having the Great Dragon Sword Soul? He didn't have any resources. He couldn't revive. Furthermore, the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty had actually revived twice. Who could block it? Damn it, I shouldn't have taken the heaven-swallowing jar. The dark red dragon roared crazily. If the heaven-swallowing jar was in Lin Xian's hands, Lin Xian definitely wouldn't die. The people of the Black Sea Dragons also sighed. They had implicated young Master Lin. The Phoenix race. Murong Qingqing waited anxiously. There were cracks on the soul jade token in her hand. She panicked. Was Brother Xian really in danger? She quickly found the dark red dragon and realized that there were cracks on it as well. This time, Murong Qingqing's eyes turned red. She almost fainted. Allure. Many experts of the Phoenix race hurriedly supported him and fed him pills. Murong Qingqing roared crazily. Let's go to the extraterritorial space together. They want to investigate the Sun Palace. The dark red dragon escorted the dragons to the Demon Emperor Mountain. After all, the heaven-swallowing jar couldn't protect them forever. It was better to go to the Demon Emperor Mountain first. The Demon Emperor Mountain had the successor of the Azure Emperor, so it was very safe. Both sides were at peace for a while. After hearing this, Yen Ryu and Monkey's expressions changed. How is this possible? Damn it, I don't believe it. How could Brother Lin die? Yen Ryu said. I want to see it with my own eyes. He left his green lotus in the Demon Emperor Mountain. Then, a few people quickly soared into the sky and charged towards the extraterritorial space. These people had several extreme weapons in their hands. They weren't afraid of extreme power at all. However, when they arrived, they were stunned. Because they realized that the sun had long disappeared. Instead, it had turned into a black hole. It was bobbing up and down. Damn it, we can't enter at all. Monkey's iron rod swept forward. Murong Qingqing's desolate tower also tore through everything. However, the black hole seemed to be able to devour everything. Yen Ryu frowned. The sun itself was a world. It contained endless power and shone brightly. Chapter 5192. Brother Xian. How did this happen? Murong Qingqing shed tears. She was about to faint. The dark red dragon gritted his teeth. Damn it, it's all my fault. I shouldn't have taken the heaven-swallowing jar. Don't be anxious. Yen Ryu held the two soul jade pendants, her eyes shining. Although there were cracks on them, they weren't completely broken. This meant that Lin Xian hadn't completely fallen. He might still have a chance. That's right, Monkey said. Brother Lin had so many trump cards. He might have been heavily injured this time. But as long as he didn't die, there would be a chance. Murong Qingqing wiped her tears. Yes, Brother Xian wasn't dead. There was only a crack on it. We have a chance. The dark red dragon gritted his teeth. What should we do? Let's take revenge on the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty. Damn it, let them know how powerful we are. After a short discussion, they decided to kill their way back. Anyway, they couldn't go to the sun now. Lin Xian was in danger, but there was still hope. The only thing they could do now was to attack the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty. The people on the buried Emperor's star were in an uproar. Lin Xian had fallen. They couldn't believe it. However, the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty's confidence shocked everyone. Could it be that Lin Xian had really fallen? First, it was Long Huangzi, then this Lin Wudi. Two emperors had already fallen. Who was next? The battle between emperors was too cruel. Was he really dead? Yi Wudao couldn't believe it. He tried to contact the dark red dragon, but he couldn't contact Murong Qingqing and the others. The people of the Divine Union were crying. Bai Susu and the others were filled with despair. How could this be? The ancestors of the Tao were going crazy. They couldn't bear such an outcome. Dead. The Kuinping race had complicated expressions. The Z Mansion, Gu family, and the others heaved a sigh of relief. Now that this peerless enemy was dead, they could finally be at ease. Qilin clapped his hands and laughed when he heard the news. Haha, the heavens are helping me. I don't need to do anything. Two emperors had fallen. He was too happy. He had fallen. The Nalan clan, the Fire Dragon clan, the Duga clan, and the other clans that supported Lin Xian fell into despair at this moment. When the Dragon Prince died, they were attacked and hunted down by the 10,000 Dragon Court. Although they had suffered losses, they still had hope in their hearts, and that was Lin Xian. Once Lin Xian fully matured, he would be able to turn the situation around. But now, even Lin Xian had fallen. Then there was no more hope for them. In the future, they would most likely face the endless pursuit of the 10,000 Dragon Court. The Dragon Sea clan, the Basket clan, and the Golden Crow clan were incomparably happy. They jumped out and said that Lin Wudi deserved to die. That was right. He dared to kill the Dragon Prince. He deserved to die. These families were very happy. However, at this time, a precious pagoda descended from the sky, causing the blue race to sway and many palaces to shatter. Some of the blue race's people had died. Damn it, who was it? The people of the blue race roared madly. On the other side, the Dragon Sea clan was also under attack. An iron rod soared through the sky, erupting with power like a god attacking. Many people of the Dragon Sea clan turned into a bloody mist, while the Golden Crow clan was swallowed by the Black Heaven swallowing jar. A group of powerhouses had also fallen. Everyone's scalps went numb. These people were all laughing at Lin Xian. Could it be that Lin Xian had returned? The people of the three great families were also terrified, but they soon realized that it wasn't so. The ones who attacked were Murong Qingqing, the dark red divine dragon, and the others. These people attacked. Were they taking revenge for Lin Xian? Could it be that he had really fallen? They had some doubts before, but now they were finally sure. Lin Xian had really fallen. Otherwise, why were these friends so crazy? The people of the three great families roared madly, but Murong Qingqing and the others ignored them. They directly charged towards the 10,000 Dragon Court. A few extreme weapons shone brightly. Although they hadn't fully recovered, the extreme power they unleashed still shattered the endless sky. At this moment, the people on the buried Emperor Star were terrified once more. This wasn't an extreme weapon. Was a battle about to break out? This battle would probably shatter mountains and rivers and plunge the people into misery and suffering. The expressions of the people of the 10,000 Dragon Court changed drastically. They directly took out the 10,000 Dragon diagram to block. They didn't take the initiative to attack. After all, they didn't have many resources left. The old ancestor of the 10,000 Dragon Court shouted angrily. "Are you courting death?" Being attacked by a few juniors made them lose face. Murong Qingqing scoffed coldly. "Since you dare to attack Brother Xian, I will kill you all today." The desolate tower released its power. It was as heavy as a mountain and suppressed the 10,000 Dragon Court. The surrounding space kept shattering. The people inside spat out blood crazily. The iron rod swept through the air, sweeping through everything. The heaven-swallowing jar swallowed the heavens and the earth. The three extreme weapons exploded at the same time. Their power was terrifying. The 10,000 Dragons diagram was completely suppressed. That damn junior. The people of the 10,000 Dragon Court were furious. They really couldn't help but want to fully recover. But they still held it in. The old ancestor of the 10,000 Dragon Court said that it was time to use their allies to invite the Z Mansion and the Gu family. Those elders sent out a signal. Everyone was watching. How was the 10,000 Dragon Court going to deal with it? If they really fully recovered, no one would be able to withstand it. But from the looks of it, the 10,000 Dragon Court was at a disadvantage. An emperor race was actually suppressed by a few youngsters. How shocking. This was probably a scene that hadn't been seen in tens of thousands of years. However, at this moment, heaven and earth shattered. An ancient mirror swept in all directions, releasing the power of extreme Tao. On the other side, a huge cauldron floated up and down. Two dragons surrounded it, releasing a terrifying aura. It was incomparably mysterious. Heavens! Another two extreme-grade weapons. Everyone went crazy. Could it be that they were also here to attack the 10,000 Dragon Court? If that was the case, the 10,000 Dragon Court would definitely die. However, they realized that it wasn't the case. After these two extreme weapons appeared, they blocked the desolate tower and the heaven-swallowing jar. They were actually helping the 10,000 Dragon Court. The 10,000 Dragon Court laughed out loud. They held the 10,000 Dragon diagram in their hands and soared into the air. 6 extreme weapons confronted each other in the air. Everyone felt this aura and prostrated themselves on the ground once again. The people of the three great orthodoxies also looked up. This power had already surpassed everything. The expressions of the Yi family members changed. Yi Wudao's pupils constricted. It was the Gu family. He felt the power of the Void Realm. The Gu family had actually joined forces with the 10,000 Dragon Court. On the other side, the Kuan-Ping clan, Qilin clan, and Phoenix clan also exclaimed. Void Mirror. Dragon Pattern Cauldron. The Gu family and the Purple Mansion had actually joined forces. The Qilin sun snorted coldly. The 10,000 Dragon Court was really something. He originally thought that it was about to shatter, but they actually secretly joined forces. Damn it, looks like I have to find a few allies. His eyes flickered. Damn it, Gu family, what are you trying to do? The dark red divine dragon roared. Murong Qingqing also said. Are you going to fight us? The Gu family members sneered. Lin Wuti was already dead. Why make a big fuss over a dead person? The Zifu disciple laughed as well. That's right. Could it be that you want to start a war? Chapter 5193. Between heaven and earth, the 6 extreme weapons faced each other, and the atmosphere was extremely tense. When Murong Qingqing and the others heard the arrogant words of the Gu family in Z Mansion, killing intent appeared in their eyes. Countless people were watching this battle, and they were terrified to the extreme. As for the ancient families and great sects, they were also facing a great enemy. The expressions of the monarch families changed. They would not allow this battle to happen. Because once they fought, everything would be destroyed. Even if they could stay out of it, if the buried Emperor Star was destroyed, their families would not be able to survive. Therefore, the experts of the other monarch families came. Everyone, stop. The Yi family's ancestor flew out and said, everyone, stop. Does the Yi family want to interfere? The monkey roared. The Yi family's ancestor sighed. Yi Wudao also came. He looked at Murong Qingqing and transmitted his voice. I know you're angry, but we can't start a war with them now. Their foundations are too strong. Once they fully recover, your lives will be in danger. Qingqing, stop. The Phoenix family's ancestor also walked over. The Kunping family's expert had come. Everything could be discussed. The other top ancient families, such as the Tianping family, and the 3 great orthodoxies, also appeared. For a moment, everyone was trying to dissuade them. Murong Qingqing and the others had solemn expressions. To be honest, they knew that with their current strength, it would be difficult for them to fully recover their extreme weapons. If they really fought, they would not have a good ending. However, they were incomparably angry. It seemed that this matter had to be discussed at length. Murong Qingqing said coldly. The 10,000 Dragon Court, this matter would not end here. One day, you will pay the price. Hearing Murong Qingqing's words, the others heaved a sigh of relief. The dark red divine dragon snorted coldly. Not only the 10,000 Dragon Court, but also your allies. Just you wait, we won't let any of you off. In the end, they did not attack and returned with the 3 emperor weapons. The other families heaved a sigh of relief. The people of the buried Emperor Star also calmed down. However, they knew that Lin Xian might have really died. Otherwise, why would Murong Qingqing and the others attack the 10,000 Dragon Court crazily? The fall of a martial monarch's son had left everyone in shock. Many experts shook their heads and sighed. What a pity. This was someone who had the potential to become a great emperor. Murong Qingqing and the others returned. They had not given up on revenge. Instead, they had gathered their strength. They were too weak, so they had to gather enough resources. When the time came, it would be a fully awakened monarch weapon. It was a peerless strike. The 10,000 Dragon Dynasty was also crazily collecting resources. They would not let Murong Qingqing and the others go. Both sides had calmed down. However, the entire buried Emperor Star was filled with undercurrents. The atmosphere was extremely tense. There were also those who believed that Lin Xian was still alive. After all, he had too many trump cards. However, a year had passed, and the other party had not appeared again. There was no news of him at all. The sun had completely turned into a black hole, and no one had ever walked out of it. This made everyone realize that this genius might really have fallen. The Purple Mansion sect, the Golden Crow clan, the Blue clan, and the Dragon Sea clan. Naturally, he was happy. Now that one of their enemies had fallen, they all started to celebrate. On the other hand, the people from the Divine Union were completely sad. They knew that what awaited them was a shocking storm. In the sacred source tower, Divine General Hai Yuan, Divine General Yun, and the others frowned. Lin Wuyi had fallen. How was this possible? They could not believe it. In a mysterious place on the buried Emperor's star, a black-robed man stood with his hands behind his back, looking up at the sky. He was He Shan. He muttered to himself, "Brat, have you really fallen?" The sun had already turned into a black hole. Inside, countless broken palaces floated up and down. There was also a pill furnace that had completely changed shape. Inside the pill furnace was a sword world. In the sword world, the Hellfire Dragon and the 4 spiritual beasts were all stunned. They waited patiently. Previously, the 10,000 dragon diagram had fully awakened twice. It had shattered Lin Xian and turned him into a bloody mist. They thought that Lin Xian was dead for sure. However, at this moment, the void broke open and a pill charged in. This shocked them. They thought that the 10,000 dragon dynasty had arrived. However, they realized that was not the case. It was a pill that revolved around the Tao. What a terrifying aura. This should have been refined by an emperor. The Hellfire Dragon was shocked. I know. This should be a pill from the pill furnace. He returned to the pill furnace. He did not expect to enter the sword world by chance. Ha! Brat, your life is not meant to end. The Hellfire Dragon waved his claw. He sent the pill into Lin Xian's bloody mist. The pill shone brightly. Lin Xian's shattered body slowly healed. He began to fall into a deep sleep. A year passed and he still did not wake up. Another year passed and Lin Xian opened his eyes. I'm not dead. He looked around in shock. He remembered that back then, the extreme Tao aura had already torn his body apart. Brat, you're awake. That's great. The Hellfire Dragon laughed. The 4 spiritual beasts roared. You're alive. You're really alive. Lin Xian's face was pale. He felt that all the energy in his body was gone. He was very weak. What was going on? Was it the spring of life? He looked down at the mouth of the spring. The Hellfire Dragon, on the other hand, told him everything that happened before. Hearing this, Lin Xian was shocked. He naturally remembered that there was a pill in the pill furnace. Didn't the other party break through the void and leave? He actually came back. Furthermore, he had obtained it. It was a pleasant surprise. After surviving a disaster, there would be good fortune. Lin Xian sat cross-legged and activated the Emperor's ancient scripture. He began to absorb the power of the pill. The pill entered his body. A part of the power had already dissolved. It made it come back to life. But there was still a part of the power left. Lin Xian was slowly absorbing it. At the same time, the powerful aura of the Spring of Life and the spiritual herbs in the 4 Spirit Valley. It allowed Lin Xian's power to quickly return. In a month, he reached the peak. Lin Xian's eyes shone with a sharp light. 1,000 Dragons Dynasty, I won't let you go. He wanted revenge. But before that, he still had to break the curse on his body. Lin Xian took out the purple flame from the cauldron. A wisp of purple flame was terrifying. It was even more terrifying than all the power of his 9 yang divine body. Lin Xian knew that this should be the purple sun divine fire. This flame could break the dragon prince's curse. In the next moment, he walked into the purple sun divine fire. His body split open again. The pain almost made him faint. But he gritted his teeth and persevered. In the blink of an eye, another year had passed. In this year, Lin Xian had been tempered by the purple sun divine fire. The Dragon Prince's curse had disappeared without a trace. He could no longer be detected by the Thousand Dragons dynasty. But he didn't come out. Chapter 5194. After a year of tempering, Lin Xian was already able to withstand the power of the purple sun god fire. Next, it was time to fully absorb it. The 9 suns on the 9 yang divine body kept flashing. Lin Xian's current physique. It was equivalent to the late stage of the great sage. However, there was still a gap between him and a peak saint lord like the golden fire saint. But if he absorbed this purple sun god fire, he would have nothing to fear even if he met someone like the 9 nether demon lord. His physique would be much stronger than these people. 2 years later, Lin Xian completely absorbed the flame. The illusions of the 6 suns on his body were incomparably bright, as if they were real suns. The other 3 were phantoms. This meant that Lin Xian was not far from reaching the late stage of the god body. With the strengthening of his physique and the increase in power of the 9 yang divine body, Lin Xian's combat strength was also much stronger than before. He felt that it was time to leave. With a flash, Lin Xian left the sword world. After coming out, he discovered that his surroundings were pitch black. It was a universe black hole. Around him were broken walls and in front of him. In front of him was a pill furnace that had been beaten out of shape. Lin Xian was shocked. The materials of this pill furnace were too extraordinary. After being attacked by an extreme Dao weapon, it didn't break into pieces and only changed shape. He waved his hand and kept the pill furnace. He wanted to see if there was a chance to restore it in the future. Then, he left. After leaving the sun black hole, Lin Xian came out and discovered that there was no one around in the vast universe. Actually, this was normal. He thought that the 10,000 Dragon Court would be guarding here. But now, it seemed that they didn't do so. Actually, the 10,000 Dragon Court had already determined that Lin Xian had died. Not only them, but the entire buried Emperor Star probably thought so too. I wonder how Qingqing, Ruffian Long, and the others are doing. Lin Xian was worried. After all, if the news of his death spread out, those people would definitely take revenge. Maybe they had already started fighting with the 10,000 Dragon Court. He was extremely worried, so he increased his speed. There was a pair of demonic wings on his back that flapped. He turned into a stream of light and disappeared. In the starry sky of the universe, several figures stopped. One of them looked into the distance in shock. "Grandpa, I think I saw a person fly out from the sun." It was a young man with light flickering on his body. The old man in front looked into the distance, his eyes radiating a terrifying light. He looked carefully for a while and said, "You must have seen wrongly. How could anyone come out alive from the sun? That place had become a forbidden land of death, and no one could walk out of it." A middle-aged woman at the side said, "That's right, maybe someone was passing by. Besides, you're just a kid. What can you see? Come on, let's go back. This time, this sun has been shattered, so we have to find a new one." Now that he had investigated it thoroughly, the next step was to transport the sun over. However, with just our strength, it is simply impossible to accomplish. It is better to ask those emperor clans to take action. After Lin Xian returned to the buried Emperor Star, he first inquired about the situation. It turned out that back then, Murong Qingqing had fought against the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty. However, she hadn't stopped. Presumably, she had been accumulating strength. After the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty attacked back then, they had calmed down. On the buried Emperor Star, everyone thought that Lin Xian had died. After Lin Xian heard that, he snorted coldly. When the time came, he would give these people a surprise. However, he didn't show himself immediately. Instead, he prepared to go to another world. This was because he had heard news about the Scarlet Flame Dragon Lord. Lin Xian wouldn't forget this person. It was this person who had spread the news about him. That was why they had sent an extreme weapon to kill him. The first person that Lin Xian wanted to deal with was this person. The Scarlet Flame Dragon Lord wasn't on the buried Emperor Star. Instead, he had gone to another world to conquer. After all, the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty had used extreme weapons many times. They didn't have many resources left. They had to subdue other worlds to increase the strength of their forces. As a Saint Lord expert, the Scarlet Flame Dragon Lord naturally went out to sweep through everything. After receiving the news, Lin Xian moved once again. He turned into a bolt of black lightning and left. In the vast universe, there were countless stars. Among them, there was a world that was filled with flames. It wasn't a sun. Instead, it was another world called the Flame Star. The power of the flames in this world was extremely terrifying. At this moment, many dragons had arrived. They swept through everything. The saints on the Flame Star couldn't resist at all. Soon, they submitted. These dragons started to gather spirit veins for the people on the Flame Star to dig out flame god crystals. This was a powerful energy. The Scarlet Flame Dragon Lord sat in a large hall in the Star World. Looking at the news of a fish in his hand, he nodded in satisfaction. After collecting the energy of this world, he would collect the energy of the other two worlds. Then, he would be able to return and report. It could be considered as completing a mission. This time, he had to have a good rest. What he didn't know was that outside the Flame Star, a figure had already descended. A figure that looked like a demonic god. Lin Xian looked at the star world below and narrowed his eyes. His eyes shone with a golden light. They were like the eyes of a god. He could sense the aura of the Scarlet Flame Dragon Lord. The other party was on this star world. At the same time, he also sensed the aura of many dragons. Other than the 10,000 Dragons Court, there were other dragons. It seemed that after this battle, all the dragons except for the dragons of the Black Sea had submitted to the 10,000 Dragons Court. Very good, from here on out, let the 10,000 Dragons Court feel the pain. Lin Xian landed on the ground. The flame aura below was very terrifying, but under Lin Xian's feet, those flame arts rose and fell quickly, as if they were worshipping their king. Lin Xian had the 9 yang divine body. In addition, he had absorbed the divine fire, so his flame power was extremely powerful. Therefore, he was walking on flat ground here. In the distance, in the continuous mountain range, endless flaming mountains were erupting. There were many figures moving there. These people were collecting flame god crystals. Among them, there was a woman with a pale face. She was wearing chains and was also collecting flame god crystals. The experts of the dragons beside her were guarding her. Move faster. The guards of the dragon snorted coldly. They waved the weapons in their hands and hit the chained people in front of them. Those people. Most of them were warriors on the Flame Star. Now that they had submitted, they naturally became such coolies. You dare to attack me? The pale-faced woman in front of them was hit by a palm. She immediately turned around and shouted coldly. The guards of the dragons were stunned for a moment before they laughed out loud. I'm so scared. Chapter 5195. Humph. Do it. Those guards snorted coldly. Another person said, Enough, do you still think you're high and mighty? You're now a prisoner. As the princess of the fire dragon race, you actually dared to submit to that Lin Wudi. It's already good enough that we didn't kill you. Hurry up and serve the 1,000 Dragons dynasty. As he said that, he slapped Fire Dragon Princess's face again. Fire Dragon Princess was knocked to the ground and blood flowed from the corner of her mouth. She was unwilling to accept this, and wanted to fight back. However, the sealing chains on her body sealed her power. Damn it, if Lin Xian was still alive, would you dare to be so arrogant? Fire Dragon Princess roared. Those dragon's guards snorted coldly. Alive? Stop dreaming, he's already dead. He died a few years ago. No one can save you. You'll be slaves forever in this life. These people laughed out loud. You'd better be obedient, or you'll suffer a fate worse than death. Killing intent appeared in the eyes of the dragon's guards. The surrounding warriors on the flame planet felt their scalps go numb. They didn't dare to resist. Fire Dragon Princess, on the other hand, shed tears of unwillingness. Lin Xian, are you really dead? She couldn't accept it. Hurry up and do your work. The dragon's guard slapped again and Fire Dragon Princess was sent flying. Try touching her again. At this moment, a cold voice sounded. As soon as these words came out, the surrounding people were stunned. The dragon's guards were even more furious. Who dares to challenge me at this time? Do you want to die? They all turned their heads. In the next moment, they saw a man standing behind them. That man had a handsome face, but his expression was incomparably cold. The endless flames in the surroundings submitted to him. Heavens, is this the fire god? The warriors on the flame planet were shocked when they saw this scene. However, Fire Dragon Princess exclaimed. It's you. At this moment, she felt like she was dreaming. Who are you? One of the dragon's guards roared. Are you here to save Huling or go to hell? He struck out with his palm. However, when this palm landed on Lin Xian was completely unharmed. However, the other party was knocked back, and half of his arm was broken. Then, his entire body was taken care of. The power of the vibration turned him into a bloody mist. What a powerful physique. The surrounding people were shocked when they saw this. The faces of the dragon's people changed, and they attacked together. Following the roar of a guard leader, more than a dozen dragons quickly rushed over. Ants, unable to withstand a single blow. Lin Xian stretched out a finger, and a terrifying flame flickered on it. He gently pointed forward. The sky collapsed and the earth cracked. The entire void was completely shattered. More than 10 dragons experts were sent flying while vomiting blood. Their bodies were shattered into pieces. It let out a miserable cry. However, they didn't die because Lin Xian didn't want to kill them. A single finger was enough to suppress more than a dozen dragons, causing the surrounding people to go crazy. Was this really a god descending to the mortal world? Lin Xian walked forward and looked at Fire Dragon Lady. He said, You've suffered. Fire Dragon Lady trembled in excitement. Is it really you? Lin Xian, you're still alive. When the people who were suppressed by the dragons heard this, their scalps went numb. What? Lin Xian. He's Lin Wudi. How is this possible? Isn't he already dead? These people have all gone crazy. The cultivators on the blazing star were shocked. They felt that this name was very familiar. However, they weren't people from the buried Emperor Star. They only felt that the man in front of them was like a god. They didn't know anything else. Lin Xian waved his hand and broke the chains on Fire Dragon Lady. Then, he took out a pill and gave it to her. You've suffered. Lin Xian used his life force to quickly heal her injuries. Soon, Fire Dragon Lady recovered. She shook her head. I'm too happy. I'm not dreaming, right? You're really alive. Lin Xian nodded. Of course, the 10,000 Dragons Imperial Court can't kill me. Moreover, I'm here for revenge this time. After saying this, his eyes exploded with extremely cold killing intent. In the surroundings, the people on the blazing star all knelt down. God, please save us. Lin Xian waved his hand and endless sword chi broke the chains on these people. He said, I can let you regain your freedom. However, you can't go out yet. Hide. Soon, I'll let your enemies go to hell. At that time, you'll be free. Thank you, benefactor. These people were extremely grateful. They all hid. Fire Dragon Lady looked at the people around her and said, What do you plan to do? Lin Xian said, I'll seal them. You can deal with them as you wish. Okay. Fire Dragon Lady nodded. Thank you. She walked over with killing intent in her eyes. During this period of time, the dragons around her would continue to torture her. Today, she wanted 100 times more. 1,000 times more. The dragon's guards all cried. Fire Dragon Lady, please spare us. We didn't do it on purpose. We were just following orders. Please spare our lives. Begging is useless. Soon, they all let out miserable cries. Under Fire Dragon Lady's methods, these people hovered between life and death. In the end, they all died in endless despair. Great! Fire Dragon Lady snorted coldly. I've taken revenge for all these years. She turned around and said, Are you really going to attack all the dragons here? Lin Xian nodded. That's right. Is there anyone from your Fire Dragon race here? I can save them. Fire Dragon Lady shook her head. Our Fire Dragon race has been suppressed and many of our people have died. The other people are suppressed on the buried Emperor Star. As for me, I was captured by them. No. Don't worry. When we return, I'll let your fire dragons regain their glory. Now, follow me to kill the Scarlet Flame Dragon God. Fire Dragon Lady was more familiar with this place. Hence, she led the way. At the same time, on the other side, the people from the dragons also received some news. Naturally, they knew that more than 10 dragons' guards had died. The experts of the Dragon Pearl clan furrowed their brows as they watched the dozens of light spots on the formation disappear. They gathered together. What's going on? Who dares to attack our dragons here? Could it be that there are experts hiding on this flame star? That's impossible. The strongest expert of this star world was killed by our Scarlet Flame Dragon God with one slap. Who else would dare to resist? Is it someone from another world? After all, the universe was vast. Even if experts from other worlds came, it might not be certain. However, some people frowned. Who dares to challenge our 10,000 dragon empire? Someone said. Not necessarily. For example, the Divine Union, the Black Sea Dragons, and the others. The moment this was said, some people frowned. They thought of Murong Qingqing, the Dark Red Dragon God, and the others. If these people attacked, that would be troublesome. Someone snorted coldly. They were afraid that they wouldn't dare to come. If they come, we'll kill them. Should we tell the Scarlet Flame Dragon God about this? Someone asked. An elder shook his head. This is just a small matter. Let's not disturb his cultivation. We can deal with it. Lin Xian wasn't just looking for the Scarlet Flame Dragon God for revenge. He wanted to get the 10,000 Dragon God and its allies. All of them were terrified. Hence, along the way, all the cultivators of the dragons had died. In each spirit vein, there weren't many guards of the dragons. There were only a dozen of them. However, along the way, this was still a shocking number. After the elders of the dragons received the news, their expressions turned ugly. Damn it! Go and search. Chapter 5196. The other party's attack was shocking, killing with one strike. Damn it, are they challenging us? Extremely terrifying killing intent erupted from the eyes of these Dragon Clan experts. An expert from the dragon race said, "Look at the path they are taking. They have gone to every single spirit vein along the way. It seemed that they planned to save the people on the flame planet one by one. This way, it would be easy. We could set up a trap at the previous spirit vein in advance. When he comes, we will catch all the enemies in one fell swoop." In the eyes of the dragons, the other party was not one person, but a group of people. That was why they could be so fast. The dragon's elder said, "So what if it was a group of people? Gather our elite forces. This time, I will let him know what regret is." The dragons headed to the Spirit Fire Mountain Range. This was a very exaggerated spirit vein, a top-grade spirit vein. The dragons had many guards, so the other party would definitely come here. After the dragons came, they set up a formation and hid. They wanted to wait for the rabbit to come. Lin Xian was indeed heading towards the Fire Spirit Mountain Range. He was indeed prepared to kill his way here. He would not let anyone from the dragons go. He came to a mountain peak and looked at the mountain range in the distance. He narrowed his eyes. Fire Dragon Girl said, "If we do this, the 1,000 Dragons Court will definitely get the news. Maybe they have already set up a trap and are waiting for us. Are we really going to continue like this? Why don't we change places and catch them off guard?" A trap. Lin Xian felt that there was indeed a hidden aura in front of him. He smiled. No need, he would go to the mountain range in front of him. Fire Dragon Girl was stunned, but there was danger ahead. Lin Xian smiled. In the face of absolute strength, all schemes were broken. I will let them die in the most despair. Let's go. Lin Xian flew forward. Fire Dragon Girl took a deep breath. Absolute strength. The other party was indeed qualified to say such words. In the Spirit Fire Mountain Range, the dragon's guards were mining flame god crystals. At this moment, two figures descended from the sky, causing countless people to look up. The warriors on the Crimson Flame planet were shocked. Who was this person? The dragon's guard snorted coldly. Who was it? How dare you come here and behave atrociously? Get down here and speak while kneeling. Just as he finished speaking, a palm slapped down from the sky. The dragon's guard who spoke had his face smashed and was sent flying. He crashed into a distant mountain range, and it was unknown whether he was dead or alive. How dare you challenge us dragons? The other guards shouted angrily. The warriors on the blazing star were so frightened that they knelt on the ground. Who was this crazy person? 10,000 Dragon Dynasty, none of you will be able to leave alive today. Lin Xian's cold voice sounded out. He landed below. Damn it, the enemy is you. The guards of the dragons in front of them shouted angrily, You dare to come? Humph, you want to kill us? How laughable. As he spoke, he waved his hand and sent out a signal. Countless formations flickered in the surroundings as figures of experts appeared in the void one after another. They blotted out the sky and covered the earth. There were more than 100 of them. They completely enveloped Lin Xian. Are there only the two of you? One of the dragons coldly snorted. They went to check the auras in the surroundings. They felt that there must be more experts hiding. However, after checking around, they didn't find anything. There were only the two people in front of them. Who are you? They roared angrily. In front of them, Lin Xian's body was covered in flames that had long enveloped everything like a volcano. Their souls couldn't see each other's faces clearly. Lin Xian said coldly. What? It's only been a short time and you already don't know who I am. No matter who you are. You want to challenge us with just the two of you. You're courting death. Kill him. With an angry roar, the surrounding formations activated countless sword formations. Thunder and flame formations covered the sky and earth as they charged over. Sword energy swept across heaven and earth as thunder descended from the sky. It carried destructive power. These formations were enough to destroy everything. The entire world was completely pierced through. The people of the Blazing Star were so scared that they fainted. They couldn't resist this power at all. Boom! 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 Fire Dragon retreated far away and dodged this attack. Lin Xian didn't retreat at all. He allowed the power of these formations to hit his body. An earth-shattering sound rang out as the endless void shattered. When the people of the dragons saw this scene, they laughed out loud. Stupid thing, how dare you challenge us? You can't even withstand a single blow. You can kill him in one move. They laughed proudly. However, when the energy disappeared, the smiles on their faces disappeared. Instead, they were horrified. It was as if they had seen a ghost. How could it be? You didn't die. They discovered that the man in front of them was unharmed. There wasn't a drop of blood. He just stood there. Impossible. These formations were extremely terrifying. People in the middle stage of the Great Sage realm would definitely die if they encountered them. Even if they were a Great Sage, they would have to resist for a while. However, the other party didn't resist at all. How strong was the other party's defensive power? Was this the trap that you set up? You can't even withstand a single blow. Your strength really disappoints me. Use whatever other means you have. Otherwise, it will be my turn to counterattack. Lin Xian's voice rang out. The powerhouses of the dragons had ugly expressions on their faces. The elders of the dragons roared and attacked with all their might. Hundreds of dragons' powerhouses attacked together. The divine abilities of the dragons blotted out the sky and covered the earth as they attacked below. The entire mountain range shook violently and was torn apart. At this moment, they disregarded everything and wanted to kill the other party. It's over. We're going to die. The martial artists on the fiery star were in despair. Such power was enough to kill them with one strike. At this moment, they discovered a golden palm that enveloped them like a mountain, blocking all the attacks. Lin Xian stretched out his palm. On one hand, he protected the martial artists on the fiery star. On the other hand, facing the attacks that blotted out the sky and covered the earth. He punched out again. One punch shattered heaven and earth. The divine abilities that filled the sky were all shattered. The hundreds of dragons' powerhouses felt their blood boil. How was this possible? Were they crazy? The other party's punch was so powerful. Who exactly were you? They roared. They had guessed that it might be Murong Qingqing, Monkey, and the others. However, it was completely different from the person in front of them. The flames on Lin Xian's body slowly disappeared, revealing his true face. What? You don't even recognize me. It's you. When the elders of the dragons saw this face, they were completely stunned. How could they not recognize this face? They would never forget it even in their dreams. Lin Wudi. This was impossible. If you're dead, how could you appear here? They roared crazily. Could it be that the other party was not dead? However, this was too unbelievable. An apex weapon and two full-strength attacks. If the other party could survive, how terrifying would he be? However, what was going on with this person in front of them? No, they had to report this to the Blazing Dragon Legion. This was big news. They wanted to escape. However, the surrounding flames surged into the sky, forming a world of flames that directly blocked everyone's path. Chapter 5197. Lin Xian's appearance stunned the people from the dragons. For a moment, they were all stunned. However, Lin Xian acted decisively and slammed his palm forward. The person in front of him instantly turned into a bloody mist, his body pierced through. The few people beside him also vomited blood and flew backwards. Miserable cries could be heard. Their screams brought the people from the dragons back to their senses. Damn it! Counterattack! An elder from the dragons shouted angrily, his body surrounded by terrifying thunder. He was from the Thunder Dragon clan. However, just as he finished speaking, his pupils suddenly shrank. He realized that Lin Xian had unknowingly appeared in front of him, less than half a meter away from him. At this distance, sensing the other party's aura, the Thunder Dragon's elder's body trembled. He couldn't control himself and wanted to kneel down. Die, he shouted angrily. He didn't allow himself to be afraid of a young man. He slapped out with his palm. The thunder on this palm turned into a thunder dragon, roaring crazily and shattering the endless void. With a boom, this palm slapped Lin Xian's body. Lin Xian's body swayed, and the endless thunder disappeared. How was that possible? The elder was stunned. He was in the middle stage of the Great Sage, and a terrifying expert. Could it be that this palm couldn't break the other party's defense? The other party was only in the early stage of the Great Sage. How could the difference be so great? Lin Xian sneered. Ignorant ant. He slapped towards the other party's shoulder. With a crack, the other party's shoulder instantly shattered. White bones appeared and blood dripped. That pain almost caused the elder of the Thunder Dragon tribe to faint. The difference was too great. He wanted to retreat. However, Lin Xian waved his hand, and a saber light appeared, directly cutting off the other party's legs. A miserable sound was heard. The Thunder Dragon's elder screamed crazily. He quickly retreated. The laws on his body surrounded him, and his broken body healed. Then, in the next moment, a large hand enveloped him. All the bones in his body shattered, and blood dripped from his fingertips. No! The elder of the Thunder Dragon tribe was terrified. However, it was useless. Under this palm, it turned into a bloody mist, no longer existing. Lin Xian loosened his grip and looked at Ba Huang. The surrounding people looked terrified. The other party was too strong. Everyone attacked together. An angry roar. Those people once again attacked from all directions. Lin Xian allowed these people to attack as he struck out with his palms. More than a dozen figures turned into a bloody mist. Then, with another kick, the 7 figures shattered into pieces. It was as if Lin Xian had entered an unstoppable realm, sweeping through all directions. In the blink of an eye, half of the 100 dragons had fallen. As for the remaining ones, they were all injured, and their faces were filled with fear. Damn it, Lin Wudi, don't be so arrogant. Do you want to become enemies with the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty? Another middle-aged man walked out and roared madly. Think clearly about the consequences of being our enemy. You can live once, but can you live a second time? Boom! As soon as he finished speaking, he flew out as if he had been struck by lightning. Cracks appeared on his entire body. Lin Xian came to the other party's side and grabbed the other party's head. He laughed coldly. You dare to threaten me? You want to kill me a second time? Do you think that's possible? With a wave of his hands, the other party's limbs were broken. A miserable voice rang out. I'm an elder of the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty. If you kill me, you're dead meat. Is that so? Lin Xian snorted coldly and directly shattered the other party's head. The elder's corpse fell from the sky. The other people felt their scalps go numb as they begged for mercy. Young Master Lin, please spare our lives. We had no choice. Young Master Lin, on account of the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty, why don't you stop? We'll apologize to you. Apologize. Lin Xian's eyes turned cold as he smiled. Sure, all of you kneel down and cripple your own cultivation. Kneel on the ground and kowtow to me to apologize. I'll give you a quick death. What? Kowtow and apologize. You still have to die. The surrounding dragons were furious. The other party was too despicable. Don't go too far. Another old man roared angrily. However, he was split apart by Lin Xian's palm. Lin Xian grabbed the other party's broken body and laughed coldly. Going too far. Your 10,000 Dragon Dynasty used an extreme weapon against a young junior like me. Don't you think you're going too far? Don't you think you're going too far with more than 100 powerhouses against me? What right do you have to be arrogant in front of me? Lin Xian roared angrily. Just this voice alone was enough to destroy the old man's soul. Break out! Break out! One after another, angry roars sounded out. Lin Xian and the others couldn't win at all. They could only quickly attack the array formation. However, this array formation was set up by Lin Xian and it contained an extremely powerful 9-yang divine flame. The power of this flame caused countless people to burn when they got close. They retreated in fear. Damn it, let's fight it out. These people shouted angrily. Lin Xian snorted coldly. You want to fight it out with me? He formed a seal with his palms, and 6 suns appeared on his body, sweeping in all directions. It was as if 6 real suns had descended into the world. The entire world was instantly set ablaze. The scorching heat caused the world to burn, and the people inside screamed crazily. No! What is this? Why do I feel so scared? My body can't withstand such terrifying flames. Horrified screams sounded one after another. Under the 6 suns, everyone was set ablaze. They wanted to extinguish the flames, but they couldn't. In the end, everything disappeared into thin air. Everyone was reduced to ashes, and nothing remained. The 6 suns flew into Lin Xian's body and disappeared. The flames between heaven and earth disappeared. The people on the flame planet were dumbfounded when they saw this scene. Dead. More than 100 dragons' powerhouses had all fallen. One had to know that these people could sweep through their entire world. But now, they couldn't even withstand a single blow from a single person. What kind of power was this? They looked at Lin Xian with respect as if they were facing a god, and all of them prostrated on the ground. Lin Xian waved his hand and split the chains on these people. Then he said, "You are free." The next moment, he soared into the sky and flew into the distance. Fire Dragon Girl hurriedly followed. The 2 of them disappeared, leaving behind the shocked martial artists below. On the Flame Planet, within the majestic Flame Palace, some of the powerful beings of the dragon race were extremely shocked. Something had happened, and more than 100 experts had fallen. This made them unable to believe it. What was going on? A sage-level elder walked over and asked coldly. The people below hurriedly explained the matter. That sage-level elder's face turned gloomy after hearing it. There was an enemy. You even set up a trap. Who was the enemy? How did they fall? Let's go, Quickly follow me to the Fire Spirit Mountain range. These people soared into the sky. They headed to the Fire Spirit Mountain range. When they arrived, they were dumbfounded. The Fire Spirit Mountain range was shattered, and blood swept across heaven and earth, turning into a sea of blood. At this moment, there was no one left. Apart from the corpses of the dragon's powerhouses, there was nothing else. They were all dead. The people who rushed over couldn't believe it. More than 100 experts had all fallen, and not a single one was alive. Who was it that did this? Chapter 5198. Who exactly is it? How dare you attack our dragon clan? You must have eaten the heart of a leopard. The elders of the dragon started to roar frantically. The other youths and guards were terrified as they felt a wave of apprehension. Too powerful. Someone is targeting us dragons. Are we going to be wiped out? At this moment, an elder of the dragon spoke coldly. What kind of joke is this? Our remaining people are even stronger. There are a few saints and even the Scarlet Flame Dragon Overlord. Do you think those people can withstand it no matter how strong they are? Yes, that's right. Once these words were spoken, the young martial artists regained their confidence. They still have many experts on their side. They will definitely be able to withstand it. Another elder said and walked back. At the same time, he gathered everyone back. We will guard the main hole. If those people want to make a move on us, they will definitely attack our main hole. At that time, we will decide the victor. These people quickly returned to the main hole. At the same time, they sent out a signal for everyone on this planet to quickly return. The martial artists of the dragons frowned. What's going on? Asking them to return at this time. Did something happen? When they returned and heard that many of their elite experts were killed, they were all stunned. This is impossible. This was impossible, right? Who could be so audacious? Find the enemy and tear him into pieces. One must know that hundreds of experts meticulously set up a trap. How terrifying is that force? But now, they were all wiped out and they didn't even know who the enemy was. We will know soon enough. I think that group of people will definitely come. They will guard the main hole. On the other side, Lin Xian left the Spirit Fire Mountain Range and went to other mountain ranges. He realized that the people there had already left. Lin Xian frowned. It seemed like they had already received the news and should have gathered together. He looked at Fire Dragon Lady and asked, "Do you know where their base is?" Fire Dragon Lady nodded and led the way. 2 days later, Lin Xian stopped and looked at the majestic palace and mansion in front of him. His eyes flickered with astonishment. Is this the place? He looked at Fire Dragon Lady and said, "Wait here. I will go there myself." Fire Dragon Lady took a deep breath. "Young master, be careful. Don't worry, they won't be able to hurt me." Lin Xian transformed into a streak of light and flew into the distance. There were many guards guarding the residence of the dragons. Some people were chatting. I think those enemies don't even dare to come. That's right, they only dare to launch sneak attacks. They don't dare to fight us head-on. Who do those people think they are? If they dare to come to my dragons, I will definitely destroy them. The eyes of these guards were filled with arrogance. Kill me. I'm standing right here. You can try. At this moment, a voice rang out. As soon as he said this, all the guards in the mansion were stunned. Who's talking? The next moment, they saw a figure walking over. Who are you? They saw that the person opposite them was covered in flames, as if he was a fire god. The terrifying heat spread out in all directions, causing the entire void to tremble. No one answered them. What answered him was only a terrifying flame. The two guards were instantly reduced to ashes. The surrounding guards were also alarmed and rushed over. Who was it? It was the enemy. Attack quickly. They quickly attacked. Lin Xian waved his hand and unleashed a sky full of fire dragons. They covered the sky and covered the earth as they charged forward. Those guards were enveloped and let out miserable cries in the end. Damn it, what's going on? What a terrifying flame. This is the aura of the dragons. Why are they the dragons' people? They went crazy and let out miserable cries. These guards were terrified and in despair. Previously, they had gathered together and chatted. They even mocked their opponents for only daring to launch sneak attacks and not fight head-on. In their opinion, no one was a match for the dragons. But now, the other party gently waved his hand, and the countless dragons on their side couldn't resist. Was there such a terrifying person in the world? And it was an expert of the dragons. They couldn't figure out who the other party was. In despair, these people were all burned to ashes. The commotion here naturally attracted the attention of the people in the mansion. There's the aura of flames. Not good, our people are falling. It seems that the enemy is here. Let's go. Some dragons experts rushed out. Before they could go out, they saw the door of the mansion shatter with a bang. Immediately after, the fire dragons covered the sky and charged over. The warriors of the dragons at the front were all sent flying and vomited large mouthfuls of blood. Their bodies were charred black. What a terrifying flame. These people were terrified as if they were facing a great enemy. They didn't know how many enemies had come this time. Thousands. Tens of thousands. They weren't sure. Everyone's gaze turned to the front. In the next moment, a figure appeared in front of them. A figure surrounded by flames walked over with large strides. Every step caused the sky to collapse and the earth to crack. It was as if a fire god had descended. What a terrifying figure. This person was definitely a top-notch expert. The powerhouses of the dragons were extremely nervous. They didn't know how many people there would be after this. But after waiting for a long time, they found that there was only one figure in front of them. There was no one else. What? Only one person. They were stunned. This was impossible. They couldn't believe that a person dared to be so bold. Quickly investigate and see if there's any trap. These people stretched out their souls and searched everywhere. But they found that there was no one around. There was only one person in front of them. Lin Xian smashed the door with a single palm strike and walked in. Looking at the stunned faces around him, he laughed coldly. Where was the red flame dragon god? Tell him to scram out and die. Hearing this voice, the stunned dragon clan cultivators in front of them all regained their senses. They hollered in rage. Damn, who are you? Why are you attacking us dragons? You dare to be rude to the red flame dragon god. Do you want to die? Angry roars rang out one after another. Lin Xian scoffed coldly. He waved his hand and a terrifying light flew out. Immediately, those roaring people screamed miserably and turned into ashes. The others were terrified. The power of the flame was too terrifying. At that moment, an elder walked out and said, "We don't know who you are and don't know about your grievances with the dragons. But I want to remind you that we dragons belong to the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty. The 10,000 Dragon Dynasty is an emperor race and I don't need to tell you how strong they are. Offending us is the same as offending the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty. How many heads do you think you have? Do you dare to go against us? Lin Wudi, have you heard of him? He is a young emperor, but wasn't he still killed by us? Now, obediently kowtow and apologize, and accept our punishment. Otherwise, you will end up like Lin Wudi. Why were they talking nonsense with him? No matter how strong he was, could he be a match for an emperor race? Once an extreme weapon was used, even if he had 10,000 lives, it wouldn't be enough. As he finished speaking, the eyes of the dragons exploded with a cold light. Chapter 5199. Lin Xian's eyes flashed when he heard the other party's words. These people thought that he was dead. How dare they threaten him with extreme weapons? He looked at the smug elder of the dragons in front of him and suddenly attacked. He punched out, and the flames on it surged into the sky, turning into the illusion of 6 suns. It was like the 6 paths world. This was the combination of the divine fire and the 6 paths fist. With a boom, the elder of the dragons instantly shattered and turned into a bloody mist. His soul was burned by the flames, and his body and soul were destroyed. He was dead. The surrounding warriors of the dragons were dumbfounded when they saw this scene. They couldn't believe that a powerful elder of the dragons was killed in one move. Who was this person? He wasn't human at all. This was something that only a demon god could do. Damn it. At this moment, someone roared. He dared to kill our elder. Kill him. These people roared crazily. Their eyes were red as they strode over. They surrounded Lin Xian. Lin Xian snorted. Kill me. I think you're the ones going to hell. Everyone, attack together. Don't hold back. The warriors of the dragons were completely enraged. They walked out. With a roar, the dragon blood on their bodies surged, and a terrifying aura swept out in all directions. Some of them stretched out their terrifying dragon claws, while others threw out their terrifying dragon tails. Some of them changed their bodies and directly turned into giant dragons. One of them was surrounded by lightning, and he turned into a lightning dragon that was 100 feet long. He roared at the sky, shaking the 9 heavens. Another person turned into a terrifying fire dragon, sword dragon, cloud dragon, and wind dragon. They covered the sky and roared. On the fiery planet, the native warriors looked at this scene in the distance and knelt on the ground in fear. Heavens, this scene made them feel like they were watching a legend. The dragons were angry. Who dared to anger them? In the distance, Fire Dragon Lady also clenched her fists nervously. Although Lin Xian was strong, could he withstand tens of thousands of dragons? With just you. Although Lin Xian was surrounded, he looked in all directions with a disdainful expression. The next moment, he took a step forward, and the divine fire on his body erupted. The power of the 9 yang divine body was displayed. It turned into 6 sun phantoms that revolved around him. As soon as the 6 suns appeared, monstrous flames shattered the sky. At this moment, many powerful dragons were sent flying, their huge bodies smashing everything in their path. Lei Long's body was charred black as he screamed in pain. The sword dragon howled in grief. Wind dragon and cloud dragon were badly mutilated. At this moment, just the aura alone was enough to make them unable to withstand it. Lin Xian's strength was top-notch, and even the emperor's son might not be a match for him. In addition, he had absorbed the dragon prince's bloodline before, and then he had fought his way out of death. He obtained a wisp of purple sun divine fire. This allowed his 9 yang divine body to make another breakthrough. Its current power was truly terrifying to the extreme. Therefore, how could these dragons be a match for them? Damn it, why was he so strong? The dragon's men kept roaring as they were sent flying by the flames on their opponents' bodies. Their faces were filled with terror. Let me do it. At this moment, an old man walked over. His body was covered in dragon scales. He was an elder, a saint-level elder. After he walked over, he sent out a palm strike. It was like a flaming cloud that enveloped the world. Lin Xian snorted and sent out a punch. A sky-shattering sound echoed. The old man's palm shattered and he was sent flying. No! The dragon's men were about to kneel. This was a saint. The great sage's late-stage strength was extremely powerful and no one was a match for him. But now, he was injured by a single punch. The old man should be a peak-level saint. How could such a person come? So powerful. That saint elder's face was filled with terror. His body was shaking and his blood was surging. Lin Xian looked at the old man with astonishment. You actually didn't die. It seems like your physique is extraordinary. He was indeed shocked. It might be a casual punch, but with his current strength, it was impossible for the old man to be injured. Even a regular saint wouldn't be able to withstand it. The old man's body had cracks and wasn't shattered. It was indeed out of his expectations. That saint elder's face became extremely ugly. Lin Xian could kill a saint with a single punch. What a joke. He was a dragon and his bloodline was extremely powerful. His physique was even more unparalleled. But now, he was receiving such an evaluation. He couldn't accept it. Damn it, I am going to kill you. He rushed over and his body transformed while the dragon scales on his body burst out. The terrifying dragon claws had sharp power and seemed to be even more terrifying than saint artifacts. 2 pairs of dragon claws slammed onto Lin Xian's body. Die. The saint elder sneered. The surrounding dragon clan members also laughed when they were hit by this kind of power. Lin Xian's body would definitely be shattered and he would definitely die. Clang! There was a sky-shattering sound and the saint elder's expression became fearful. He realized that he didn't even break Lin Xian's defense. How is this possible? Is Lin Xian wearing a divine armor? Lin Xian looked at the old man and laughed. You are too weak and can't even break my defense. While speaking, he reached out and grabbed the old man's dragon claws. He gently waved. There was a cracking sound and the dragon claws that were even more terrifying than saint artifacts were instantly broken. Ah! The saint elder let out a miserable cry. Lin Xian's strength was beyond his imagination. He wanted to escape, but it was already too late. Lin Xian's leg flew out and kicked the old man's body. The old man felt as if he was struck by lightning. He flew out and smashed into countless palaces. His body was shattered into countless pieces and scattered all over the ground. One kick and his soul was destroyed. He died again. The surrounding dragon's experts were terrified. This time, it was a saint who made a move. But he couldn't even block one move. What was wrong with this person? Why was he so terrifying? Damn it! 2 people flew over from the distant palace. They were a middle-aged man and a woman. They were both saints. After they arrived, they said coldly that everyone should form a formation to kill him. The 2 of them took out 2 saint artifacts from their storage rings. The terrifying saint artifacts bloomed with radiance and attacked at the same time. The formation bombarded him, but Lin Xian wasn't afraid. His physique was able to defend against everything. Then he stomped his foot and charged forward. He stretched out his palms and attacked the 2 saints. Damn it, how dare you! The 2 saints shouted angrily. Was Lin Xian going to fight the 2 of them alone? He was looking down on them. The middle-aged man on the left roared. In his hand, there was a bronze hammer. As it swayed, it carried the power of laws. It was a terrifying saint artifact. The woman on the right held a pagoda in her hand. As it opened and closed, it was as if millions of mountains were falling from the sky. The two of them used all their strength. The entire world was constantly shattering. The surrounding dragons experts also roared crazily. Kill him. They attacked the dragons from afar and activated the formation at the same time. The monstrous power was all aimed at Lin Xian. However, Lin Xian snorted coldly. He waved his fists and attacked the two saint artifacts. A voice that shook the heavens sounded. At the same time, the illusion of 6 suns appeared and flew in all directions. Those suns shredded the formation and enveloped the dragon's experts. Those who were hit were all turned into ashes. The others were also sent flying while vomiting blood. Chapter 5200. Damn it, how dare you! When the two sages saw this scene, they shouted angrily. They wanted to help, but Lin Xian's hands blocked their saint artifacts. Do you want to leave now? The power on his palms erupted, turning into 2 terrifying sword lights that slashed forward. The 2 saint artifacts were repelled, and the 2 sages' chi and blood were in turmoil. He's too strong, let's fight it out with him. Unity of man and artifact. Their bodies merged with the saint artifacts, and they quickly rushed over. A loud boom rang out, and Lin Xian's arm felt numb from the impact. This was incredible. These two still had such a technique up their sleeves. His face was gloomy, and then he formed a seal with his left hand. Demonic God Seal. With a palm strike, the pagoda was sent flying with a bang. The middle-aged woman also vomited blood, and half of her body turned into a blood mist. On the other side, the demonic god finger flew out and tapped on the bronze hammer, causing the middle-aged man's body to be pierced, and he let out a miserable scream. How can he be so strong? Run away. The 2 great sages' faces were ugly. If they continued fighting, the remaining people would all die. It seemed that they could only run away. Lin Xian looked at the 2 people in front and sneered. Want to run away? Today, none of you can escape. He slowly raised his hands, and the 9 suns split the sky, sweeping across the world. A vast flame danced in the air and swept out in all directions. On his body, the illusion of 9 suns appeared, and 6 of them were incomparably solid. As if they were real suns, they instantly shrouded the world. These flames erupted together. The 9 suns' divine fire was the flame of the purest yang, and its power was incomparably terrifying. These flames also had a trace of faint purple light, which was the purple sun's divine fire. The power of the Emperor's fire. With a monstrous status, it swept across the world. Ah! At this moment, the void shattered, the palace collapsed, and the surrounding people were instantly pierced by the flames. The 2 great sages' faces were also ugly. Retreat quickly. The 2 of them frantically retreated. However, they were hit by the 2 suns, and their bodies were ignited. No! They roared crazily and used all their strength to defend. However, the saint artifacts also melted in the sun. They were completely crazy and in despair. Red Flame Ancestor, save us! At the most critical moment, they sent out a cry for help. There was an even more terrifying saint in seclusion here, the Scarlet Flame Saint. He was probably the only one who could save them. However, it was too late. As soon as they shouted, their bodies melted and their souls were extinguished. Everything in the world ceased to exist in the raging flames. When the 9 sun illusions disappeared, the entire mansion was razed to the ground. Lin Xian was the only one standing in the pitch-black land, looking like a demon god. In the distance, the people on the blazing star looked at the scene in the sky in shock. They knelt down and kept worshipping. The appearance of 9 suns meant that the sun god had descended. Are they here to save us? They crawled towards the distance with hope. On the other side, in the void, Fire Dragon Lady's pupils contracted. She could feel the aura of the dragons disappearing quickly. After that, he could no longer feel it. They had all died. So many elders, including the 3 great sage lords, had died. This was all done by Lin Xian alone. He didn't use a legendary saint weapon, nor did he use the power of an extreme Dao weapon. Was he already so terrifying with his own strength? No wonder he dared to go alone. Perhaps he could really kill the Scarlet Flame Saint. After all, Lin Xian's trump card was very terrifying. Lin Xian stood on the ground and looked at the ashes around him. His eyes were cold. These people deserved it. If they didn't kill him, they wouldn't have ended up like this. However, the battle wasn't over yet. The blazing flame dragon lord hadn't come out yet. Lin Xian wouldn't leave. His eyes flashed with the power of reincarnation as he looked around. Soon, he looked down at the ground. With a cold snort, he stomped his foot and the ground cracked open, forming a canyon that was 1,000,000 miles wide. Lin Xian said coldly, "Are you still going to hide under the ground? Come out and die. Who is it? How dare you disturb my cultivation?" Beneath the ground, a cold voice rang out, bringing with it endless fury. The clouds in the sky were collapsing. At the same time, there were 4 cold voices. How dare you disturb a saint's cultivation? Do you want to die? Men, take him down. 4 figures flew out. They were 4 young people, the geniuses of the 10,000 Dragon Court. After they came out, they wanted to summon the dragons. But when they looked around and saw that the ground had been razed to the ground, they were stunned. Where was this? Where was the residence of the dragons? Saint, this is bad. The voices of the 4 young geniuses trembled. Didn't I tell you to be calm when you encounter problems? You have to be calm even if the primordial demon mountain collapses in front of you. Have you forgotten what I taught you? A cold snort sounded. The 4 young people's faces turned pale. They were so scared that they didn't dare to speak. The voice came from below again. I want to see what can make you so panicked. A figure stepped into the air and rose into the air. He came to the ground with a powerful flaming dragon's might. After coming out, he was stunned and his pupils constricted. What was going on? The surrounding ground was charred black as if it had been burned by fire. Where was the residence of the dragons? Where were the saints of the dragons? What was going on? The red flame dragon god shouted coldly. We don't know. The 4 young people were so scared that they were about to cry. In the end, they raised their heads and pointed at the person in front. It's him, we saw him after we came out. He was the one who attacked. Someone dared to attack in the territory of the dragons. The red flame dragon god turned his head. In the next moment, he frowned. Who are you? He shouted coldly. He felt a familiar aura from the other party, but he felt that it was an illusion and it couldn't be that person. Red Flame Dragon God, have you gone senile? You don't even recognize me. Lin Xian laughed coldly. I am here to take revenge on you. Take revenge on me. Who are you? What a joke. The Red Flame Dragon God scoffed coldly. I have killed too many people. What kind of cat or dog are you? Show me your identity, and I won't kill nameless people. Lin Xian laughed. Since you want to die, I will let you know. The flames on his body slowly disappeared and all of them entered his body. In the next moment, his face appeared. Why? Do you remember? It's you. The red flame dragon god looked at the young and handsome face, dumbfounded. How could he forget this person? One had to know that this face had been deeply imprinted in the souls of the Dragon Clan's experts. Because it was this person who killed the Dragon Prince. He was their peerless enemy. But this was something that happened a few years ago. Didn't he die under an extreme weapon? Why would he appear here? Impossible. The red flame dragon god shook his head frantically. You can't be that person. That person is already dead. His heart and soul are destroyed. He can't be revived. Who are you? Are you his friend? Are you trying to scare me with this method? Ridiculous. Go to hell. Chapter 5201. The Scarlet Flame Dragon Overlord wasn't an ordinary saint. His strength was much stronger than the previous two saints. Therefore, this punch was shockingly powerful. The space in front of them shattered, and it spread for tens of millions of miles, turning into a black hole. Was he dead? The four young geniuses sneered. Going against the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty was courting death. But soon, they were stunned and didn't dare to think about it anymore. Because they noticed that the young man had appeared beside them. So many years have passed, but your strength hasn't improved at all. Lin Xian dodged the attack and sneered. How is that possible? The Scarlet Flame Dragon God's pupils constricted. Did he dodge? He didn't notice it at all. Could it be that Lin Xian had really become stronger? I don't believe that you are that person. I don't believe that anyone can survive an extreme weapon. One had to know that Lin Xian didn't have an extreme weapon when he attacked him. Under such circumstances, the Dragon Prince would definitely die. How could Lin Xian survive? Therefore, all of this was an illusion. He definitely wasn't that Lin Wudy. Kill! With a furious roar, he charged out. Scarlet Flame Divine Palm. He struck out with his palm, and it was like the palm of a god that carried monstrous power. This was the ultimate technique of the dragons. It was extremely terrifying. Lin Xian didn't retreat this time. He snorted coldly and punched out. Boom! The two collided, and it was like two worlds clashing. With the two of them as the center, a terrifying aura swept out in all directions. The space instantly shattered. The four geniuses were terrified. Not good. They retreated. In an instant, they were enveloped by the remaining power of the energy. The four of them didn't even have time to scream before their souls were destroyed. Damn it! The Scarlet Flame Dragon God's expression turned ugly when he sensed this. Dead? Are the four geniuses dead? One had to know that they were the four geniuses of his family. He had thought highly of them, so he brought them along to guide them. But now, they were actually killed by the remaining power of the energy. Their deaths were too humiliating. But soon, he was no longer in the mood to care about the four geniuses. Because his expression was filled with fear and shock. In front of him, Lin Xian's fist blocked his palm. Even his palm began to tremble. The flames on it were suppressing him. How could this be? He had fought with Lin Wudy before. The other party was strong, but he was no match for him. It was only because the other party launched a sneak attack on him and used a sacred weapon that he was able to injure him. Otherwise, the other party wouldn't be a match for him at all. But now, the other party had easily blocked this palm strike with just the strength of his body. The power of the divine body. The red flame dragon monarch gritted his teeth. He was truly terrified. The nine-yang divine body in this world was probably only Lin Xian. Even if he imparted it to others, it would be impossible for them to cultivate it to such a level. It would take at least a few hundred years. In just a few short years, it was absolutely impossible. Therefore, the person in front of him was undoubtedly Lin Xian. But how did the other party survive? 2 full-powered attacks from an apex weapon, yet the other party was still alive. This was too shocking. What kind of secrets did the other party possess? He didn't dare to think about it anymore. If such a person were to grow up, it would be a crisis for the dragons. No, he had to quickly inform the family. Even if he had to disregard everything, he had to use an apex weapon to kill the other party. He quickly retreated, wanting to send a message. However, Lin Xian took a step forward. Shadowless Heaven's net instantly closed in on the other party. What, do you want to repeat the scene from before? Do you think I will give you a chance to send a message to the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty? You have no chance. Lin Xian punched out. The red flame dragon monarch was forced back and spat out blood. Damn it. He retreated explosively, turning into a bolt of lightning and charging into the distance. He would leave and then send a message to the family. He turned into a dragon shadow, passed through the clouds, and disappeared. You want to leave? Lin Xian snorted coldly. A pair of demon god wings appeared on his back. He spread them and soared into the sky. His speed had also reached the limit. In an instant, he caught up to the red flame dragon monarch. How was that possible? The red flame dragon monarch was terrified. Why are you so fast? Lin Xian sneered. It seems that you are too confident. Today, I will let you see my true strength. He roared, and 9 suns appeared on his body. The 6 suns were incomparably real. He condensed them in his hands, and a flaming divine sword appeared. 9 suns split the sky. He waved his hands. At this moment, the entire planet shook violently, and countless cracks appeared below. The sky above the 9 heavens was split into 2 by the sword. No! Sensing this scene, the red flame dragon monarch frantically blocked. What kind of sword was this? It was too terrifying. Block it! He burned his dragon blood and roared crazily. Red flame fire god. The flames on his body condensed and emitted a monstrous light, forming the illusion of a fire god to resist the sword. An earth-shattering sound rang out, destroying the world. Below, the wind and rain blew. Countless cultivators of the fiery planet knelt on the ground. This power was enough to destroy their planet. Fortunately, the 2 of them had arrived above the 9 heavens. Most of the power was transmitted to the outer space. The pitch-black universe also lit up at this moment. It was like an aurora that spread in all directions. Some people in the universe felt it and were instantly terrified. They looked into the distance. Heavens, what was that? 2 fire element experts were fighting. Was that the fire god? What was the other one? Was there a sun attacking a planet? They saw the 6 suns turn into a divine sword and slash at the fire god. Then, the entire universe seemed to be split into 2. Endless cracks spread toward this side. Some people who wanted to get close to watch the battle instantly fled. It was too terrifying. Roar! An angry roar sounded in the world as the fire god illusion was split into 2. The flames in half of the starry sky disappeared, and the figure of the red flame dragon monarch appeared. At this moment, the red flame dragon monarch was stunned in midair. His body trembled and his pupils constricted. The light in his eyes disappeared. Impossible. A crack slowly appeared between his eyebrows. Then, it spread across his entire body. His body was split into 2, and his soul was also disappearing. He was in despair. The other party had actually insta-killed him with 1 sword. What had the other party experienced in the past few years? Not only did he not die, but his strength had also increased greatly. The 10,000 Dragons dynasty was in danger. He could imagine what kind of attack the 10,000 Dragons dynasty would suffer next. He wanted to send a message, but he couldn't do it anymore. Boom! The broken corpse fell and burned. In the starry sky, it turned into a bright flame that illuminated the world. Then, it quickly disappeared. A few years later, the red flame dragon monarch was killed by Lin Xian with one sword. Lin Xian retracted the 6 sun illusions. His expression was cold. He turned around and flew towards the fiery world below. Below. The cultivators on the fiery planet looked up at the sky. When they saw Lin Xian return, they kept bowing to him. Lin Xian stood in the sky and said loudly. Chapter 5202. Was he dead? Were those terrifying dragons all dead? In their eyes, the scarlet flame dragon god was a godlike existence. When he first came, he defeated them with just a look. He was the strongest person in the world. They couldn't resist at all. In the end, they became prisoners. Now, such a person was actually killed. Who was this young man in front of them? No, he wasn't human. He was a god. He was a godlike existence. Greetings, exalted immortal. They kept worshipping him. Exalted immortal, you have helped us. From now on, exalted immortals will be respected. The world core flew out and floated above the 9 heavens. Lin Xian's lips curled up. Very good, he had obtained a world core. From now on, no one will be able to attack you. He waved his hand and sent out the 9 suns illusion into the ground. Then, endless fire spirit veins quickly gathered and rolled. A monstrous and terrifying power was forming. I have set up the 9 suns array here. It is an extremely powerful fire array. Combined with the fire energy of your world, even a great sage will die without a doubt. Great, thank you, exalted immortal. The cultivators on the fiery star were overjoyed. With such an array, they would be safe in the future. Fire Dragon Lady also flew over, her face full of shock. Were they really dead? They had all fallen. Lin Xian nodded. They couldn't withstand a single blow. Come back with me. Return to the buried Emperor Star, save your family, and take revenge on the 10,000 Dragons dynasty. Lin Xian's eyes shone with a cold light. Then, the 2 of them turned into lightning and disappeared into the universe. The people in the outer space looked into the distance in shock. Was the battle over? It can't be, right? Shouldn't such a person fight for months or even years? One had to know that it was very difficult to kill a top expert in one move. But now, the phenomenon in front of them had disappeared. They were bewildered as they flew forward. They came to the place where the battle had taken place and felt the remnant aura. They were terrified. It was too terrifying. There was divine blood here. Why do I feel like it's the aura of the dragons? Did an expert of the dragons fall? They sucked in a cold breath. This must be the fiery star. It was said that the blazing flame dragon lord had led dragons here before, mining the flame divine crystals. Could it be that the person who fought before was the scarlet flame dragon monarch? It was very likely. But where was he now? Could he be dead? That was impossible, right? Who could defeat such a terrifying existence? Have you noticed? The person fighting the blazing flame dragon monarch was surrounded by a terrifying illusion of the sun. That person was also an incredible expert. Was he from the Golden Crow clan that possessed the illusion of the sun? No, the Golden Crow clan only had one sun phantom. That person had 9, the 9 yang divine body. Someone exclaimed. This kind of young divine physique was the strongest physique under the starry sky. These people naturally knew. No, I heard that Lin Wuti, the 9 young divine body, was killed by the 1000 Dragon Court's extreme weapon in Solar God Palace a few years ago. It was impossible for a second 9 young divine body to appear in this world. Then who was the person from before? They were extremely puzzled. At this moment, someone said, could it be that Lin Wuti didn't die and came to take revenge on the Scarlet Flame Saint? That was impossible. How could he survive the attack of an extreme weapon? Even the Dragon Prince was killed by an extreme weapon. No matter how strong he was, it was impossible for him to survive. It was said that he didn't have anything that could save his life back then. But how could that be explained? Only Lin Wuti would take revenge on the Scarlet Flame Dragon Monarch. It was said that it was the Blazing Flame Dragon Monarch who leaked the information that caused Lin Wuti to be hunted down by an extreme weapon. This Lin Wuti was too mysterious. He could even kill the Dragon Prince. Was there anything he couldn't do? Perhaps he really didn't die. Thinking of this possibility, these people sucked in a breath of cold air. Let's not talk about it anymore. This isn't something we can imagine. Let's go. These people returned to their respective worlds. They weren't from the buried Emperor Star. They were only from the nearby worlds. After returning, they spread the news to the cultivators in their worlds. Those people were incomparably shocked. No way, Lin Wuti didn't die. This was too inconceivable. Why do I feel like I'm dreaming? If it was really Lin Wuti, then a huge storm was coming. There would probably be another shocking battle on the buried Emperor Star. Countless people looked up at the starry sky. How was that mysterious star now? Buried Emperor Star. The 2 silhouettes arrived quietly without alerting anyone. They were hiding in the forest. They were Lin Xian and Fire Dragon Lady. I wonder how those people are doing. Lin Xian was very worried about Murong Qingqing and the others. Fire Dragon Lady said, I know some things, but I don't know much about it in recent years. What happened before? Lin Xian asked. Fire Dragon Lady said that the 4 Emperor-level characters who joined forces with you are all fine. They have extreme weapons in their hands and they have the resources of their clans to rely on. The 10,000 Dragon Dynasty once attacked them, but they were helpless. However, hearing that Murong Qingqing and the others weren't in danger, Lin Xian heaved a sigh of relief. Soon, he asked again. However, the Black Sea no longer existed. The 10,000 dragon picture had attacked the dragons of the Black Sea. Although they had resisted, the Black Sea had already been torn apart. Countless demonic beasts had fallen and turned into a sea of blood. It was like hell. It wasn't just the Black Sea dragons. The other clans were also being suppressed. For example, the Fire Dragon clan became prisoners. Some people from the Duga clan and Nalan clan were killed and heavily injured. The martialists of the Divine Union no longer dared to leave the path. Some of them were even inexplicably injured on the path. It could be said that no one related to the Divine Union had a good life. Lin Xian's face darkened when he heard that. The 10,000 Dragon Dynasty was courting death. He was really angry. This time, not only did he want to take revenge on the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty, but he also wanted to let the world know that there was no good ending for those who allied with the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty. Lin Xian said, I'll save your fire dragons first. Fire Dragon Girl's face lit up. Really? Thank you, young Master Lin. Lin Xian shook his head. This matter started because of me. I will give you a satisfactory explanation. The 2 of them quickly headed towards the fire dragons. At this moment, the fire dragons were no longer as glorious as before. The entire fire dragon tribe had become prisoners. And the ones who controlled them were the wind dragons. The wind dragon race had always sided with the 10,000 dragon court. Now that they were in control of the fire dragon race, they were naturally overjoyed. The fire dragon clan's territory, including all kinds of resources, were all under their control. Not only that, they could also control the life and death of the fire dragons. Even now, they had begun to use the blood of fire dragons to purify their bloodline. At this moment, the fire dragon race was filled with blood chi. Many of them were chained up and their bodies were riddled with wounds. Every day, they had to contribute their own dragon blood. There were countless cauldrons in the mansion. Chapter 5203. The fire dragon race was in a pitiful state. The fire dragons roared crazily. Damn it, if you have the ability, then give us a quick death. You will suffer retribution for torturing us like this. Retribution. The wind dragons laughed out loud when they heard that. Stupid things. Now that Lin Woody is dead, who dares to attack us? The world will belong to the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty in the future. All of you can go and die. An arrogant voice rang out. You dare. At this moment, a cold shout rang out. Then, a person appeared in the residence like a stream of light. Who is it? The wind dragon race frowned. At the next moment, they were stunned. It's you. Why are you here? The members of the Fire Dragon clan were also stunned. It was the princess of the Fire Dragon race, Fire Dragon Princess. Wasn't she sent to the Flame Star to dig for Flame God crystals? Why is she back? Are you alone? The Wind Dragon race laughed coldly. Good, your bloodline is stronger. I think it can improve my bloodline further. A young man from the Wind Dragon clan walked over and reached out his hand to grab Fire Dragon Lady. Boom! An earth-shattering sound rang out. With a scream, the genius of the Wind Dragons was sent flying. His palm was shattered and his face was filled with fear. You dare to hurt me? He roared crazily. Men, suppress him. I want him to live a life worse than death. The surrounding Wind Dragon race members all walked over. The Fire Dragon race members were in despair. Princess, run! They shouted. Fire Dragon Princess didn't escape at all. She stood there and a figure appeared behind her. It was a black-robed man. It was Lin Xian. After Lin Xian came out, he looked around. Wind Dragon race, kneel down and accept your death. Who are you? The Wind Dragon race members roared in anger. Fire Dragon Princess, since you still dare to resist, then don't blame us for being impolite. Attack! With a command, the Wind Dragon clan's people quickly rushed over. Lin Xian snorted coldly. A cold aura appeared in his eyes. Monstrous flames swept out in all directions. In an instant, the entire world became a world of the sun. The people from the Wind Dragon race froze. They felt the scorching flames and became terrified. It was as if the other party could tear them to pieces with just a glance. Who are you? They were terrified. Just the aura of the other party was enough to make them so afraid. He was probably an extremely terrifying senior figure. Lin Xian took off his cloak and looked forward. What, you don't even recognize me? What? It's you. Lin Woody. How can you still be alive? The people of the Wind Dragons were terrified. Run. They wanted to leave, but Lin Xian snorted coldly. 9 suns split the heavens. Boundless suns danced in the air, enveloping all of the Wind Dragons. Flames swept across the sky, burning heaven and earth. The experts of the wind dragons were all annihilated. The next moment, the sun phantom disappeared. The people of the fire dragon race were all stunned. Did he die? Did the wind dragon clan all perish? Heavens, what kind of method was this? They looked at the young man in front of them, and their bodies began to sway. Young Master Lin, you are still alive. That was great. They cried tears of joy. With Lin Xian alive, there was hope. They could turn the tables. Lin Xian formed a seal with his palms. The longevity battle armor flew out and continued to expand. It enveloped the entire residence. The injured fire dragon race cultivators were enveloped by the powerful life force of the longevity battle armor. The cracks on their bodies quickly healed. What a terrifying life force. These people were even more shocked. Lin Xian was like a god. He could control life and death with a raise of his hand. Greetings, young Master Lin. 5 minutes later, the people of the fire dragon race gathered together. They bowed respectfully to Lin Xian. Lin Xian nodded and then looked at Fire Dragon Lady. Take your clansmen to hide and recuperate. Young Master, what about you? Fire Dragon Lady asked. She said that they could attack together. Lin Xian shook his head. No, all of you should gather your strength first and wait for the time when I need you. When I need you, I will summon you. Yes, we understand. Fire Dragon Lady waved her hand and led the people of the Fire Dragon race away. Lin Xian's eyes flashed. Next was the Nalan family. His allies, the Dugu family, were all suppressed. They were suppressed by the Thunder Dragons and Sword Dragons. They were living a miserable life. Lin Xian attacked and killed the people of the Thunder and Wind Dragons. He saved the Nalan and Dugu families. Young Master Lin, you are still alive. Greetings, young Master Lin. Patriarch Nalan, Patriarch Dugu, and the others were so emotional that they cried. They finally saw hope. Lin Xian said, rest well and leave the rest to me. This was just the beginning. Lin Xian wouldn't stop here. The annihilation of these Dragon Clan martial artists set off a small storm. However, the majority of people on the buried Emperor Star hadn't received the news. In their opinion, Lin Xian had already fallen. Let's return to the Divine Union first. Lin Xian returned to the ancient city and walked towards the path. He was strolling leisurely, but his figure was incomparably ethereal. Every step he took was like lightning. People with ordinary strength couldn't even see him. Elder Yi had returned from the Sacred Origin Tower. He was an elder of the Yi family. He had gone to the Abyss Tower to inquire about some things. When he returned, he narrowed his eyes. The current situation was surging like a storm. Lin Xian and the Dragon Prince had fallen. The battle between the princes would probably be even more intense. He had to make preparations for Yi Wudao. Suddenly, he froze and his pupils shrank. It seemed like someone had just passed by. However, he didn't catch a glimpse of that person. An expert. He hurriedly used his soul spirit to investigate. Under his powerful soul spirit, he discovered a figure. He was wearing black clothes and was strolling leisurely. His speed was extremely fast. What a strange movement technique. When did such a person come to the ancient city? Moreover, it was a young figure. He was shocked. Could it be that another prince had come? He probed even more carefully. Suddenly, his pupils shrank. Could it be? He caught a glimpse of the black-robed figure in front of him. He saw the side of his face. This made him feel as if he had been struck by lightning. When he took a closer look, that person had already disappeared. Impossible. Was it him? Why would he appear here? Didn't he die in the Sun Palace? He realized that the man's side profile was very similar to Lin Woody's. Had he really returned? Could it be that he hadn't died? No, this was big news. Although the Yi family elder wasn't sure, he had to hurry back and inform Yi Wudao. This figure was naturally Lin Xian. Lin Xian arrived near the path. Before he entered, he heard people talking about how miserable the current divine union was. That was true. The divine union's boss, Lin Wudi, had fallen. Ruffian Long and Toad had also escaped. The current divine union was in a precarious situation. Coupled with the crazy suppression of the Dragon Palace, it was very miserable. Chapter 5204. Lin Xian frowned when he heard that. Then, his body flashed and he entered the path. He flew toward the divine union. At that moment, the divine union's mountain gate had been destroyed and many cracks had appeared on the surrounding walls. The array formation was also dim. Lin Xian was about to enter when he heard some people arguing inside the divine union. Some people sighed. Looks like we won't be able to hold on for much longer. Bai Susu said in a low voice. What's wrong? Have you lost your confidence? We can definitely pass on. Senior Sister Bai, don't blame me for saying this, but what's the situation in the divine union now? I think everyone is well aware of it. The Dragon Palace won't let us off, so the divine union is finished. The one who spoke was a woman. She wore blue clothes, and her appearance was also delicate and beautiful. However, there was a cold glint in her eyes. She was called Bingyu. Another person in the star battle armor stepped forward. That's right. In my opinion, Boss Lin shouldn't have killed the Dragon Prince. This person was called 7 Star. What do you mean by that? Yurin stepped forward and shouted coldly. Nalin Liang and the others glared at him. 7 Star said. Think about it. All of this happened after the death of the Dragon Emperor. If we had just defeated the Dragon Prince and spared his life, the divine union wouldn't have ended up like this. You! How dare you question Boss Lin? Yurin and the others were trembling with anger. 7 Star said in a low voice. Not only did Boss Lin offend the 10,000 Dragon Court, but he also offended the Golden Crow tribe, the Purple Mansion tribe, the Blue tribe, and the Dragon Sea tribe. These were all ancient families and peerless sections. Every one of them could sweep away an entire region. Now that he's dead, we're the ones who have to suffer. Shut up. Bai Susu stepped forward and snorted. 7 Star, Bingyu, what do the two of you mean? Our intentions are clear. The current divine union is no longer the divine union of the past. We have no way of contending with the Dragon Palace. There are only 2 paths left. 1. Disband the divine union. 2. Lower our heads and beg for mercy from the Dragon Palace. That's impossible. Yurin shouted angrily. What was the Dragon Palace? We will never lower our heads and beg for mercy. Then we can only disband. 7 Star sneered. Bai Susu said that it was impossible to disband. She had promised Lin Xian that the divine union had to be maintained. Bingyu sneered. Senior Sister Bai, your father is an elder of the Dao sect. Your life is not in danger. But we are different. We don't dare to go against Dragon Palace anymore. Otherwise, we will all die. The other members of the Divine Union also started to discuss this. Bai Susu's complexion turned awful. He knew that the morale of the people had plummeted ever since news of Lin Xian's death had spread. Coupled with Bingyu and 7 Stars' instigation, the Divine Union would find it hard to maintain itself. The divine union would not disperse, nor would it lower its head to anyone else. At this moment, a voice rang out. Everyone was stunned. 7-star also said. The third path was for everyone to die without a doubt. Did he want everyone in the divine union to die along with him? Baisusu was stunned. This voice sounded familiar. Who could it be? He looked in all directions. In the next moment, she discovered that the outside of the array was flickering. Someone was there. She rushed out and saw a figure standing outside. It was a man in a black robe. Who are you? She was extremely nervous. Lin Xian took off his cloak and said, "It's me." Baisusu froze as if he had been struck by lightning. Her eyes turned red in disbelief. It was like a dream. Behind her, the members of the Divine Union were stunned. What was going on? Why was Senior Sister Bai standing there in a daze? Damn it, could it be that the people of Dragon Palace had come to fight? Damn it, let's fight it out with them. Nalan Liang and Yuren also rushed over. When they arrived at the entrance, they were also stunned and their bodies started to tremble. The members of the three gods frowned when they saw this. Could the enemies from Dragon Palace be so strong that Senior Sister Bai and the other two were unable to resist? Bingyu said coldly, "Did you see that? We are no match for Dragon Palace right now. Therefore, when the experts from Dragon Palace arrive, we will immediately admit defeat. If you want to die, then continue attacking. In any case, I won't do that." The others were in an uproar when they heard this. It looked like that was the only way. On the other side, 7-star smiled. Don't worry, we are all geniuses. Even if the Divine Union is gone, we can still form other factions and continue to survive. We can even carry forward and ascend to the next level. Then, he clenched his fists. He could already imagine leaving the Divine Union and forming his own faction. The people behind were discussing. 7-star and Bingyu had already made up their minds. However, the eyes of Baisusu and the other two were red. They weren't dreaming, right? Is it really you? The three of them were stunned. Lin Xian smiled. Of course, it's me. Why? Are you blocking the entrance and not letting me in? How dare you? Boss, hurry up and invite me in. Yuren and the others smiled and made way. Lin Xian walked in with the other three following closely behind. The people from Dragon Palace had arrived. The people inside were nervous. Bingyu hurriedly walked forward. 7-star continued to rope in people. In a while, he would bring away a group of experts to form his own faction. Don't worry, friends from Dragon Palace. We won't be enemies with you. We will lower our heads and admit defeat. Bingyu walked up with big strides. However, the smile on her face froze, and she stood there in a daze. A moment later, she was so frightened that she almost knelt on the ground. Are you a human or a ghost? She screamed. The surrounding people also stepped forward and exclaimed in surprise. No way, were they dreaming? Had the other party returned? 7-star's back was facing everyone as he conversed with some experts. He promised extremely good conditions. As long as these people formed their own faction with him, he would not treat them unfairly. These geniuses frowned deeply. They owed the Divine Union a favor, but this 7-star actually wanted to take away the Divine Union's resources and rope them in to form another faction. How despicable. Someone was about to retort when they suddenly heard a cry in front of them and looked up. They were also startled. Then, joy appeared on their faces as they all rushed over. Damn it! I haven't finished speaking yet. Don't you want to cooperate with me? 7-star was furious. He snorted and turned to capture these people. However, he was also startled when he saw the black-robed figure in front of him. He subconsciously took 3 steps back. Your ghost has returned. He saw a familiar figure. Lin Xian. Lin Wudi. The boss of the Divine Union. But how was that possible? Wasn't he already dead? How could he appear here? Could it be that the other party's soul had returned? Cold sweat broke out on his back at that thought. The other people were also bewildered. Was it really Boss Lin? Lin Xian looked around and said coldly. Why? Don't you recognize me? As he spoke, the 9 Yang divine physique released a terrifying divine fire. These people were shocked when they sensed the power of this body. The 9 Yang divine physique was the most masculine and Yang physique. That was Lin Xian's physique. Chapter 5205. Bingyu turned pale from fright and started crying. On the other side, 7 Star also knelt on the ground in fright. How is this possible? Lin Fan didn't die. He was extremely afraid now. The 2 of them had originally planned to seize the Divine Union's resources and establish their own factions. They even wanted to rely on the Dragon Palace. The reason why they dared to do so was because Lin Xian was dead. But now, Lin Fan had returned. Impossible. Weren't you killed by an extreme-grade weapon? How could you return alive? No one could withstand an extreme-grade weapon. 7 Stars roared crazily. Nalin Liang was instantly unhappy. 7 Star, what is the meaning of this? Are you cursing Boss Lin? Don't tell me you don't want Boss Lin to return. How would I dare? I'm too shocked. 7 Star quickly shook his head. Who would dare to contend with Lin Xian? He didn't dare. Lin Fan could kill him with 1 slap. Bingyu also said in fright. Boss Lin, do the others know that you returned alive? Lin Xian looked at the 2 and smiled. Don't worry, the entire buried Emperor Star will soon know. I will let my enemies know how to offend me. As long as they are my enemies, I will let them know regret and despair. Bingyu and 7 Stars' pupils constricted again. Go against Lin Xian. The Dragon Prince was dead. Could the 2 of them still be alive? Boss Lin, how did you dodge an extreme-grade weapons attack? Someone exclaimed. Yes, they were really too excited. Bai Susu and the others were curious as well. Lin Xian chuckled. So what if it's an extreme-grade weapon? It's not very possible to kill me. It was an accident that I was attacked by an extreme-grade weapon this time. It was the Blazing Dragon Monarch of the 10,000 Dragon Court who informed me. We also found out. Bai Susu clenched her teeth. The Blazing Dragon Monarch was directly teleported back and was put in an important position by the 10,000 Dragon Court. It said that he went to the outer realm to gather resources. Damn it. He's too strong. We're not his match. Yuren and the others were also unwilling and clenched their fists. However, they raised their heads and said, now that Boss Lin is back, we can take revenge. However, Lin Xian smiled. There was no need. The Scarlet Flame Dragon Monarch was already dead. Dead? Everyone was shocked. Who did it? It was too satisfying. Bai Susu was shocked. Could it be that you were the one who did it? Lin Xian nodded. Indeed, it was the Scarlet Flame Dragon Lord. The dragons that were with him were all killed by me. None of them left alive. Everyone gasped. The Scarlet Flame Dragon Overlord was a formidable expert among the saints. He was at the late stage of the Great Sage realm and had terrifying strength. Beside him were a group of elders and experts from the dragon clan. These people were all killed by Lin Xian. Could it be that Lin Xian had used an extreme-grade weapon? In their opinion, only the heaven-devouring jar would be able to defeat those people. These people were shocked. Nalan Liang instantly ran over and said, "Boss Lin, please save my family." Their Nalan family was on the Divine Union side and had been suppressed badly. It was said that many of their elders had fallen. Lin Xian patted him on the shoulder. "Good brother, I've let your family suffer. Don't worry, I've already saved your Nalan family. Is the family all right?" She was overjoyed. A huge rock was lifted from her heart. "Thank you, Boss Lin." Lin Xian said, "You're welcome. This matter started because of me, so I naturally have to help." Not only the Nalan family, but the Dugu family and the Fire Dragon family were also saved by him. That was great. Bai Susu and the others were overjoyed. They could finally turn the tables this time. 10,000 Dragons Court, Dragon Palace, just wait. "Oh right, how's the Divine Union recently?" Lin Xian asked. The moment he said that, Bai Susu looked at Bing Yu and 7 Star with cold eyes. The others also made way. In an instant, an empty space was formed in front of them, leaving only the two of them. "Boss Lin, I was wrong. Please spare my life." Bing Yu immediately knelt down and begged for mercy. She knew that she couldn't hide what she had done from Bai Susu. Lin Xian would find out sooner or later. 7 Star looked up abruptly and gritted his teeth. "Boss Lin, although I was wrong, no one knew that you were still alive. However, no one knew that you were still alive. Everything I did was for the Divine Union." Bai Susu snorted. "For the Divine Union? You still have the cheek to say that? Do you think I don't know what you did? You secretly stole the Divine Union's resources and formed your own force. Then, you will establish your own force. You really have a good plan." "Lin Xian, I've long disliked these two people. However, the Divine Union was in a precarious situation and was attacked from both sides, so I couldn't do anything." Lin Xian looked at the two of them and said coldly. "Were these two the only ones who took action? Did they have companions?" "Yes." Yurin also clenched his teeth and pointed out a few people. There were more than a dozen companions of these people. They all knelt on the ground. They begged for mercy. Lin Xian said, "When I established the Divine Union, I set the sect rules. I'm sure you all know the fate of traitors. Those people were terrified. A traitor would naturally die." Lin Xian stood with his hands clasped behind his back and turned around, his back facing the crowd. He said coldly, "Since we're from the same sect, I'll give you some face. Do it yourself." The front quieted down for a moment. Everyone looked at this scene with deep emotions and iciness. These traitors deserved this fate. However, those people were still begging for mercy. Bing Yu looked up and said, "Boss Lin, I was wrong. I'll do it myself." With that, her soul split open and her body and soul were destroyed. Apart from that, the people following Bing Yu also took action and committed suicide. 7 Star stood up and roared crazily. "Why should I do it myself? Who do you think you are? How dare you dictate my fate? Let's go." He waved his hand and the people beside him also stood up. Emboldened, they followed him. This 7 Star was also considered a top genius. His strength was very powerful. His cultivation had already reached the mid-stage of the Great Sage. With such an expert in addition to them, even if they couldn't defeat Lin Xian, it shouldn't be a problem for them to leave safely. These people soared into the sky. Seven Star's eyes flickered with a cold light. Lin Wudy, just you wait. Although he was defeated this time, he would seek refuge with the Dragon Palace and kill his way over with the Dragon Palace people. He wanted revenge. Boss Lin. You can't let him escape. The people of the Divine Union were very anxious. Lin Xian turned around and looked at the void. He shook his head and sighed. Stupid. If you were the same as Bingyu, I wouldn't pursue the matter. But now, you're acting so recklessly. Don't blame me. He reached out a large hand and grabbed at the sky. In an instant, it covered heaven and earth. Damn it! Seven Star roared and his brothers attacked together. He snorted and unsheathed the saber on his back. It was the Seven Star saber. The saber slashed down with a terrifying starlight that tore heaven and earth apart. The surrounding 10 figures also attacked at the same time. They resisted the flaming palm. Boom! The 9 Suns' divine palm shattered everything and the 7 Star saber instantly melted. The other superpowers also turned to ashes. Chapter 5206. Damn it! How could this be? 7 Star and the others roared. They couldn't even block a single palm. I don't believe it. They still wanted to resist. The 9 Sun divine palm closed and their bones shattered. They screamed. A moment later, they were suppressed by the palm. However, they didn't die. Damn it! Let us go. There are rules in the Tao. You can't attack us. These people roared. Bai Susu and the others frowned. There were indeed rules in the Tao. However, Lin Xian said coldly, I have rules too. The rules of the Divine Union. No one can break them. If you had acted obediently like Bingyu, I would have given you a quick death. However, you've been reincarnated for 10,000 years now. He activated his Heaven's Secret special ability and these people entered the reincarnation realm. They would suffer 10,000 years of pain and die in despair. In the end, these dozen or so people fell. The surrounding people looked at this scene with terrified expressions. Soon, someone stood up and said, they deserved it. They betrayed the Divine Union and deserved this. Yes, that's right. Don't worry, Big Boss Lin. We won't tell anyone about this. The others quickly swore. Lin Xian said, don't worry. These people are just the beginning. Next, I'll let more people suffer my wrath. Lin Xian's eyes were filled with killing intent. Bai Susu's heart was pounding. Are you thinking about it? That's right. The Dragon Palace would definitely die if they dared to attack the Divine Union. I won't let them off this time. Let's go. He turned and walked outside. Bai Susu was stunned. No way. You want to attack here? This is the Tao. There are rules in the Tao. The others were also stunned. Lin Xian said indifferently without turning back. Don't worry, the Tao won't attack me. I've been the Tao's hope since the moment the Dragon Prince died. After saying that, he sped up. Bai Susu's eyes lit up. The others clenched their fists. Let's go and follow Big Boss Lin. Lin Xian was right. Previously, there were 2 young supremes in the Tao, both of whom had the potential to become great emperors. Therefore, the old ancestors of the Tao supported different people. However, the situation was different now. The Dragon Prince was dead, and only Lin Xian was left. If Lin Xian died, the Tao sect would suffer a great loss. After all, they had already offended the 10,000 Dragons dynasty because of Lin Xian. The 10,000 Dragon dynasty wouldn't let Dao Zhong off. Therefore, the Dao sect had no choice but to fully support Lin Xian. In that case, Lin Xian would not show mercy to Dragon Palace. Dragon Palace. After the death of the Dragon Prince, the reputation of the Dragon Palace was much weaker than before, but it soon stabilized. Even without the Dragon Prince, the Dragon Palace had gathered countless powerful dragons. And a group of geniuses in the Dao. When these people gathered together, they were still the most powerful force in the Dao. Especially after the news of Lin Wudi's death spread, the divine union had completely declined. The Dragon Palace was now constantly suppressing the divine union. Once they destroyed the divine union and seized their resources and geniuses, the Dragon Palace would be able to reach the top again. The person in charge of the Dragon Palace now was the tyrant dragon tribe. This person was called Ling Tian. At this moment, a group of people was gathered in a hall in the Dragon Palace. Ling Tian sat on the most important throne, and the people around him were all flattering him. I think the divine union won't last for more than 2 days. With brother Ling Tian around, how could the divine union be a match for them? Just wait, they will definitely die in 3 days. Then, the Dragon Palace will become stronger again. Brother Ling Tian will become the #1 genius in the Dao. That Lin Wudi was nothing. Didn't he die in the hands of the dragons? Laughter could be heard. Ling Tian said, "You can't say that. I am only the second genius in the Dao. The first genius is the Dragon Prince. Although he died first, he is still the first genius." That's right, the first genius is the Dragon Prince. The people around him nodded in agreement. Ling Tian's eyes lit up when he saw this. He said, "After this gathering, everyone will rest for a day before attacking the divine union." What about the Dao? The geniuses around him were worried. Ling Tian smiled. "Don't worry. With Lin Wudi dead, the divine union has no backing. We still have the 1,000 Dragon Court behind us. How should we choose among the Dao? I think the old ancestors should understand." Yes, that's right. The geniuses around him laughed. Outside the Dragon Palace, the guards were also calm. They were not seriously defending. After all, no one dared to attack them at this moment. A group of people walked out in front of them. This group of people was majestic and filled with killing intent. Who was it? The guards frowned. They looked carefully and sneered when they realized it was Bai Su and the others. The divine union. Why? Couldn't they wait to die? Men. Kill them all in one battle. The guards unsheathed their swords and were ready to send a message. However, a few sword lights slashed down from the void and killed them. Lin Xian followed the divine union like a demon. When he attacked, these guards had no way of resisting. Go. After killing the guards, Bai Su and the others tore apart the formation and charged right into the area. The divine union had also gathered a group of top experts and was considered a top force. When these young geniuses attacked, the power was terrifying. After entering, Bai Su and the others attacked frantically. Now that they understood the situation, they would destroy the Dragon Palace completely and make it cease to exist. Everyone in the Dragon Palace was stunned. Who dared to attack them? Damn it! It's the divine union. Fight back. Inform Big Brother Ling Tian. Those people were shouting crazily. A figure retreated quickly and entered the main hall. Young Master Ling Tian, this is bad. The door of the main hall was knocked open in an instant. The top geniuses gathered inside stopped and looked over. Ling Tian's face darkened. Didn't I say that no one was to disturb me no matter what happened? The guards of the Dragon Palace were terrified. Young Master Ling Tian was in trouble. Someone had charged in. What? Who was it? The people at the side frowned as well. The guard said that it was the Divine Union. Damn it! Ling Tian slammed the table and stood up. How dare the Divine Union come here? Who was the leader? Was it Bai Su Su? He dared to behave atrociously here just because his father was an elder. Today, he would be killed as well. The entire main hall was filled with killing intent. At that moment, a voice was heard. I'm the leader. I'm standing right here. Try and kill me. Who was it? Upon hearing this voice, the geniuses in the main hall were stunned. They all turned around. Ling Tian turned around abruptly and rolled out. His roar was earth-shattering. In the next moment, they saw the void crack open and a figure walk out. Who are you? How dare you behave atrociously here? A genius from the Dragon Palace pointed forward and shouted. As soon as she finished shouting, she was stunned. Chapter 5207. What did they just see? A person who was supposed to be dead had appeared in front of them. How was that possible? Weren't you already dead? A genius from the Dragon Palace roared crazily. With a swoosh, he was split open by the sword. Lin Xian waved his arm and said coldly, You're the one who died. Damn it, how dare you attack me? Ling Tian shouted angrily. Who do you think you are? Lin Xian looked at him with disdain. How dare you? This is the leader of the Dragon Palace, young Master Ling Tian. Another two people stood out and shouted coldly. However, Lin Xian slapped them, and their bodies spun in the air and turned into blood mist. Ants, who gave you the right to talk? The others were terrified. He was too powerful. Those who could gather in this hall were the top geniuses of the Dragon Palace. They were the top geniuses in the entire Dao. Every single one of them would be able to sweep through everything when they went out. Even ordinary older generation figures were no match for them. However, two of them were killed by a slap from the other party. Of course, they also knew that Lin Xian was someone who could compete with the Crown Prince. His strength was far beyond their imagination. Ling Tian gritted his teeth. Lin Wudi, you're not dead. He was really shocked. Even an extreme weapon couldn't kill him. Impossible. He shook his head frantically. It must be because he wasn't at the Sun Palace back then. Otherwise, how could he not die? Lin Xian looked at him and said coldly, You're in charge of the Dragon Palace now. That's right. Ling Tian sneered, Get lost now. We can live in peace. Trash. The Dragon Prince is dead, and the Dragon Palace has declined. How dare you talk to me like this? Lin Xian slapped him. How dare you? Ling Tian roared. He was the leader, so he naturally had his strength. This proved that his talent and strength were top-notch. Therefore, facing Lin Xian's slap, he fought back crazily. As a Tyrannosaurus, his physique and strength were very strong. In an instant, he slapped out and let out waves of dragon roars. There was even a powerful thunder on it that could pierce through everything. However, as soon as Lin Xian's palms collided, everything turned to ashes. What a terrifying Tyrannosaurus Rex! In the blink of an eye, it was torn into pieces. Ling Tian was also sent flying while vomiting blood, with half of his arm broken. Roar! You dare to hurt me! Ling Tian was sent flying. However, at that moment, a foot stomped him into the ground. The earth was torn apart. The palace collapsed as well. You're really weak. You can't even withstand a single blow. You're not even comparable to that long AO from before. Damn it, let go of me, I'm a Tyrannosaurus Rex. If you dare to touch me, my family will not let you off. Boom. Lin Xian exerted force with his foot and crushed the opponent into pieces. Then, he pointed out with his finger and sword chi pierced through the other party's soul, nailing him to the ground. Lin Xian withdrew his palm and said coldly, "Even the Dragon Prince is not my match. How dare you threaten me?" Dead. The surrounding geniuses of Dragon Palace were terrified. Heavens, that was the leader of their Dragon Palace, the most elite genius. However, in the hands of the other party, he was so weak. The rest of the geniuses kept retreating. However, the people of dragons roared and attacked together to kill him. These people attacked crazily, but Lin Xian chopped them all into pieces with a single sword. The sword chi that filled the sky made these people unable to resist at all. After killing more than 30 geniuses of dragons with a single sword, Lin Xian stood with his hands behind his back. There were more than 20 young people left. They were also elite geniuses, but they were not from Dragon Palace. They knelt on the ground in fear. "Spare us, young Master Lin, please spare us. From the moment you cooperated with Dragon Palace, your fate was already sealed. When you make a choice in your next life, don't choose the wrong path." Lin Xian's eyes shone with a piercing cold light. The 9 suns' divine fire flew out of the peanut, and the illusion of the sun shrouded everything. These people screamed miserably as their souls were destroyed. The battle outside was still raging. However, Lin Xian walked out of the main hall. He said loudly. Ling Tian was already dead. With a wave of his sleeve, those heads flew out. When the elites of Dragon Palace who were still fighting saw this scene, their faces turned ugly. How could it be? Young Master Ling Tian and the other elite geniuses were all dead. Damn it! How dare you attack? A burly man roared crazily. This is the Dao sect. How dare you attack the geniuses of Path sect? As he said that, he crushed the token in his hand. You're dead. Lin Xian sneered. Then what are you doing? Aren't you violating the sect rules by attacking the Divine Union? Who dares to attack? At this moment, a cold shout was heard from the sky. Then, an old man descended from the sky. The remaining people of Dragon Palace rushed over and bowed. "Elder, save us. They dared to kill our people. Even young Master Ling Tian is dead." These people started crying. It was an elder of Dragon Palace who came. His name was Jingyun and he supported Dragon Palace. When he heard that, his pupils shrank. Ling Tian was dead. What was going on? Who did it? Soon, he stared at Bai Susu and the others below. "Divine Union, how dare you break the rules? Kneel down obediently. Who do you think you are?" Bai Susu was stunned. "Why didn't you stand up when Dragon Palace attacked us previously? They broke the sect rules first. We were just retaliating. How dare you?" Elder Jingyun shouted angrily. Bai Susu said, "Don't go overboard. Even though your father is an elder, so what? Even an elder would have to die for breaking the sect rules. Kneel down obediently. Otherwise, don't blame me for suppressing you." How arrogant. You can't differentiate between right and wrong. You don't deserve to be an elder. As Zhang Xian said those words, a golden palm descended from the sky. Elder Jingyun was furious. Who dared to attack? He threw out a punch. Soon, he screamed and retreated. His palm was shattered. Who was it? He shouted angrily. However, the golden palm was too terrifying. It slapped him to the ground in an instant. He didn't even know who the enemy was before he was defeated. Damn by Susu. How dare you attack an elder? You're dead meat. Men. He called for help again. In the distance, another 3 elders joined forces and came over. How dare you? Divine Union, capture them quickly. Do you want to die? 3 angry roars were heard. Lin Xian snorted and attacked again. The huge palm came down on the 3 elders. The 3rd elder shouted angrily, "You're courting death." After releasing Elder Jingyun, one of them formed a hand seal and turned into a black dragon that descended from the sky. It swept across the sky. On the other side, the lady formed a hand seal and rain fell from the sky. It turned into a peerless killing aura that pierced through the 9 heavens. The last person rushed over directly to save Elder Jingyun. The attack of the 3 experts was extremely powerful. The people of Dragon Palace below were delighted. Watch and see how you die. The people of Divine Union sneered. They weren't the ones attacking this time. It was Boss Lin. Boss Lin could even dodge an extreme weapon, let alone the attacks of these elders. Chapter 5208. Facing the overwhelming attacks, Lin Xian was still fearless. The flames on his body blossomed with a terrifying radiance as his fists swept in all directions. Each of his punches carried an extremely strong force. The laws of the divine abilities that were near him were all shattered. None of them were able to reach him. Not only that, but this force also attacked the 3 great sage lords. Boom boom boom. The 3 great sage lords felt as though they were struck by lightning. Their chi and blood surged as they vomited large mouthfuls of blood. How is this possible? This force was too terrifying. Just one person was enough to make the 3 of them feel as though they were facing a great enemy. Damn it! The 3 of them took out their sacred artifacts and frantically counterattacked. Lin Xian formed a seal with his palm and slapped down with the Devil God seal. On the other side, it was the 6 Dao fist. At the same time, an extremely terrifying reincarnation mountain burst out from his eyes. The 3 absolute arts attacked the front. These were all top-notch absolute arts. How could the 3 great sage lords block them? In an instant, they were severely injured. 2 of their bodies were shattered. One of them was torn into pieces and then suppressed by Lin Xian with the 6 sons. The surrounding people were stunned when they saw this scene. Especially those from the Dragon Palace. They widened their eyes in disbelief. This was the 3 great sage lords. They could sweep through everything. However, they were easily defeated by Lin Xian. Had this guy's strength already surpassed a great sage? Damn it, you dare. Do it. Do you want to die? One of the middle-aged men roared crazily. As a result, Lin Xian stomped his face into mush. You still dare to be arrogant. Do you think I don't dare to kill you? Lin Xian's eyes burst out with extremely terrifying killing intent. He destroyed the other party's mind and soul. The power of the great dragon sword soul tore the other party's soul apart. The other party couldn't be revived. Dead. The eyes of the Dragon Palace's people almost popped out. The others were so frightened that they knelt down. This was a great sage elder. How could he just kill him like that? You dare. The other 3 elders were so frightened that their scalps went numb. They screamed crazily. Old ancestor, save us. The battle here naturally alarmed the entire Dao Center. Countless figures soared into the sky. Who dared to cause trouble here? Quite a few elders had arrived, and even some patriarchs from the core region of the Dao had rushed over. It's me. Lin Xian coldly snorted in response to the angry shouts around him. The light on his body shot straight into the sky. You are. The surrounding elders wanted to continue hollering. However, when they saw Lin Xian, they were stunned. In the next moment, someone cried out, Lin Wudi, you're still alive. It can't be, right? I'm not dreaming, am I? They were all crazy. At this moment, an old man appeared in the void. It was Fantasy World Ancestor. The others bowed respectfully. Fantasy World Ancestor looked down and frowned. Someone dared to behave atrociously in the Tao. When he saw that it was Lin Xian, he was also stunned, his eyelids twitching wildly. You're not dead. He was truly shocked. Ha 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 ha. Another figure appeared in the distance. It was old ancestor barbarian god. After he arrived, he threw his head back and laughed. Lin Xian, you're still alive. I didn't misjudge you. Even an extreme-grade weapon couldn't kill you. You'll definitely become an emperor in the future. They were really overjoyed. Ancestor, save us. The three elders were suppressed and let out miserable cries. The people from the Dragon Palace also knelt on the ground. Ancestor, please uphold justice for us. Lin Wudi, why did you attack? Don't you know that killing each other is not allowed in the Tao? An elder stood out and shouted coldly. These people were all supporters of the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty. Lin Xian looked at him and sneered. You also know that killing each other is not allowed in the Tao. Then, where were you when the Dragon Palace was fighting the Divine Union? Why didn't you come out to uphold justice? I didn't see it. Elder Zhang gritted his teeth. Didn't see it. Lin Xian's eyes erupted with terrifying killing intent as his reincarnation power erupted with light. He directly charged forward. The great elder screamed miserably. His eyes were bleeding and he looked extremely miserable. My eyes. Damn it, how dare you destroy my eyes? The elder roared crazily. He couldn't see anything anymore. Lin Xian stood with his hands behind his back and said coldly, you didn't see it either. Scram. If you meddle in this matter, I'll destroy your soul. The surrounding people were extremely shocked. Even the elders felt their scalps go numb. What kind of method was this? He could beat up an elder with a raise of his hand. The savage wilderness ancestor was shocked. Lin Xian, did you break through? He looked carefully and realized that Lin Xian's cultivation was still at the early stage of the great sage. Without breaking through, he actually had the combat power of a great sage. As expected of a top genius. However, the elders who supported the Dragon Palace had extremely cold expressions. They naturally didn't dare to say anything to Lin Xian. Instead, they all looked at the Fantasy World Ancestor, asking the ancestor to take action. This kid was too arrogant. He didn't care about the rules of the Tao at all. Lin Xian, do you know your crime? The Fantasy World Ancestor said coldly. However, before he could finish, Lin Xian said loudly, the Dragon Prince is dead, but I'm still alive. Upon hearing this, the ancestor was speechless. The surrounding elders' eyes also flickered. That's right. The Dragon Prince was a top genius, but he was already dead. A dead genius was nothing. Lin Xian was still alive. Lin Xian's talent was probably even more terrifying than the Dragon Prince's. He had a higher chance of becoming a great emperor in the future. Were they going to punish such a person now? Were they going to lose another young supreme being? At that moment, Bai Susu's father, Elder Bai, walked out and said, Supreme Great Fantasy World Ancestor, when you were in seclusion, the Dragon Palace had been secretly attacking the sacred spirits and even killing many geniuses. However, some elders secretly protected them and deceived the ancestor. Now that Lin Xian has returned and led the Divine Union to attack the Dragon Palace, it's understandable. We hope the ancestor will show mercy. That's right, we hope the ancestor will show mercy. The surrounding elders all spoke up. The barbarian god ancestor also looked at the fantasy world ancestor and said, "Old friend, you were wrong once. Are you going to make the wrong choice again? In our Tao, the path of the future lies in a single thought of yours." The barbarian god ancestor was on Lin Xian's side. Previously, the fantasy world ancestor had supported the Dragon Prince. Now that the Dragon Prince was dead, there was a chance. Would the other party support Lin Xian or the Thousand Dragon Court? Everyone was waiting for the fantasy world ancestor. The fantasy world ancestor's eyes flickered before he sighed. The Dragon Palace was in the wrong. Therefore, he wouldn't pursue the matter this time. Then, he looked at Lin Xian and said, "You've just returned. Rest well. The True Path sect will do its best to nurture you." With that, she turned and disappeared. The people of the Tao exclaimed. The people of the Dragon Palace were in despair. The elders who supported the Dragon Palace felt their scalps go numb. This meant that the fantasy world ancestor had given up on the Thousand Dragon Court and supported Lin Xian. It wasn't just the fantasy world ancestor. The other patriarchs would probably support Lin Xian as well. When the time came, the entire Tao would cultivate Lin Xian. Chapter 5209. Thank you, old ancestor. Lin Xian cupped his fists and smiled at the void. Old ancestor barbarian god also smiled and nodded. Little guy, we won't interfere in this matter. You have to grasp this opportunity. With that, he blinked and left. Lin Xian was stunned and then smiled. The people around him didn't understand what he meant. Lin Xian said. This matter wasn't over yet. This battle wasn't over. Everyone only had one chance. Bai Su and the rest understood. They smiled and then looked at the people from the Thousand Dragon Court. Attack. These people attacked quickly. No. The people from the Dragon Palace shouted crazily. Old Zhang, save us. However, the elders who supported the Dragon Palace felt their scalps go numb. Some of them lowered their heads and admitted defeat. There were also some who were originally members of the Dragon Clan and were killed by the other elders. In the end, the people from the Dragon Palace were all killed. From then on, there was no more Dragon Palace in the Tao sect. The other genius disciples gasped when they saw this scene. They looked at Lin Wudi in awe. From now on, Lin Xian and the Divine Union were existences that they couldn't afford to offend. The Dragon Palace had kept many treasures. Take them back and don't waste them. Lin Xian said. Bai Su and the rest moved quickly. They were very happy. Now, the Tao sect was completely on Lin Xian's side. In fact, they had no choice. Lin Xian and the Thousand Dragon Court were mortal enemies. They could only choose one. Since they chose Lin Xian, they would become enemies with the Thousand Dragon Court. The Thousand Dragon Court wouldn't let the Tao sect go. Therefore, the Tao sect wouldn't hold back either. This matter spread across the entire Tao sect in an instant. Not only that, but it also swept towards the Holy Abyss ancient city. In an instant, everyone in the ancient city knew that the Dragon Palace had been destroyed. Who did it? Who dared to attack the Dragon Palace at this time? Was there no one in the Tao sect who would care? Countless exclamations were heard. They went to investigate. However, an even bigger piece of news came. Lin Wuti was back. When everyone heard the news, they were all stunned. They couldn't react for a moment. Then, they sucked in a breath of cold air. Lin Wuti is back. How is this possible? Wasn't he already dead? That's right, he had already died a few years ago, killed by an extreme weapon. How could he possibly come back? This news not only spread throughout the entire wholly distant ancient city, it also spread towards the distant light continent and even the entire buried Emperor star. In an instant, everyone went crazy. Lin Wuti was not dead. He had returned. What kind of joke was this? He would have been killed by an extreme weapon long ago. This was impossible. The remote antiquity families, the mining world sects, and even the monarch race went crazy. Hurry up and investigate. These people are roaring crazily. If Lin Wuti was still alive, it would be an earth-shattering event. The Demon Emperor Mountain also received the news in an instant, and the monkey looked up to the sky and laughed. Did you hear that? Brother Lin didn't die. The Black Dragon God Dragon also rushed out in an instant. Damn, I knew this kid wouldn't die. Great. Yen Ryu smiled. Murong Qingqing was even more excited. Brother Xian was fine. I have to hurry. He can't wait any longer. Let's go together. These people headed towards the path together. The experts of the other families all gathered in Holy Origin City. They wanted to investigate whether Lin Xian was dead or not. On the other side, the Blue Race, Long Hai, Golden Crow Race, Zifu, and the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty were all stunned when they heard the news. Lin Wuti wasn't dead. Impossible. They shook their heads crazily and asked one after another. The 10,000 Dragon Dynasty laughed coldly. This must be a scheme. I think Murong Qingqing, the Azure Emperor's successor, and the others worked together to release the news. Then, they set up an extreme weapon trap in Holy Origin City. If we go in, they will attack with all their might and use extreme weapons to kill us. We can see through such a trap immediately. The 10,000 Dragon Dynasty didn't believe it. Long Hai, Golden Crow, and the others laughed. Yes, that's right. This is a trap. You want to kill us? Wait for another 10,000 years. These people didn't believe it. The others couldn't sit still and came over. Murong Qingqing and the others rushed over. On the path, Yi Wudao also came. They looked at the familiar figure in front of them and laughed excitedly. You really aren't dead. Lin Xian laughed. I made you guys worry. The group of people gathered together and were very happy. The dark red god dragon said, Kid, tell me what happened. Lin Xian recounted what had happened to these people in detail. Everyone was shocked when they heard this. You actually ate the great emperor's pill. Damn, kid, what happened to your body? It's actually the purple sun god fire. Yi Wudao was shocked. Monkey and the others were shocked too. Murong Qingqing smiled and said, It's good that you're fine. She was most worried about Lin Xian's safety. Kid, here's the heaven-swallowing jar. The dark red god dragon returned the heaven-swallowing jar to Lin Xian. The Black Sea Dragons have already gone to Monster Emperor Mountain. There are extreme weapons there. There are a lot of people investigating right now. Should we hide for the time being? Yen Ryu asked. After all, once the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty knew that Lin Xian was still alive, they would go crazy and attack him. Lin Xian also took a deep breath. Inform our allies and the Dao sect to prepare with all their might. Also, bring the extreme weapons and get ready to activate at any time. Lin Xian's eyes shone coldly. He knew from Murong Qingqing and the others that the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty had two allies now, the Gu family and the Z Mansion. At the same time, they provided two extreme weapons, so he couldn't be careless. As for the Z Mansion, Lin Xian knew that they had a grudge with him and would definitely attack. But the Gu family surprised him. Lin Xian had a good relationship with the Gu family, but he didn't expect them to stand on the side of the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty. Since they were enemies, Lin Xian wouldn't hold back. Yan Ryu, Murong Qingqing, and the others quickly informed the factions behind them to prepare. Bai Susu hurriedly informed her father so that Dao Zhong could make the necessary preparations. Lin Xian, however, stood up. Before the news is confirmed, I have to make another move. The Blue family, Long Hai, and Jin Wu, I won't let them go. Let's attack as well. The dark red dragon and toad also walked out. The monkey also stood up. Even Leaf Dao Denier said that he could participate in this battle. They wouldn't participate in the battle for the extreme weapons, but he wasn't afraid of the other clans. And then there's us. The Soul Sage also came. As a top assassin, this was the best time for him to take action. Not only that, but he also brought all of his subordinates. This was a group of extremely terrifying killing saints. Once this power was unleashed, it would definitely cause the heavens and earth to tremble. Good. Lin Xian's eyes shone brightly. Then, he summoned Whitey and said, "Follow Ruffian Long and the others." Not many people were participating, but they were all top experts. Once they attacked, they would kill with one strike. The operation only had half a month. Lin Xian and the others disappeared. Chapter 52:10. Everyone frantically came to Holy Abyss Ancient City to investigate Lin Wudi's situation. However, Lin Xian and the others had already begun to move. Holy Abyss Ancient City, White Crane Tower. This place was very famous, and countless people gathered here to inquire about the news. A few figures were sitting at a wine table by the window. One of the geniuses from the Blue clan sneered. Lin Wudi is still alive. Stop dreaming. He will never appear again in this life. This is a trap. They are still far from being able to plot against us. Hearing this, the others were also surprised and doubtful. Was it true? Perhaps this was really a trap set up by Murong Qingqing and the others. Because until now, they had not found out if Lin Xian was still alive. Suddenly, a sword light flashed in the sky, and the genius from the Blue clan who spoke earlier was instantly cut in half, his body and soul destroyed. Who was it? The others exclaimed in shock. This young man from the Blue clan was a very top genius. But now, he was killed by a single sword strike. Who was the enemy? They had no idea. Dragon Sea. It was a very terrifying sea area. If one wanted to pass through here quickly, they had to take a dragon boat. The dragon boats were controlled by the Dragon Sea clan. At this moment, on one of the dragon boats, it carried countless powerhouses and geniuses. Those who could board the dragon boat were not ordinary people. At this moment, countless people were alarmed because the owner of the dragon boat had arrived. He was an elder of the Dragon Sea clan. His strength had reached the level of a sacred master. After he arrived, the surrounding people bowed and greeted him. The owner of the Saint ship said with a smile, "We should be able to arrive in 5 days. Everyone, just wait patiently." The surrounding people said, "Of course." On the Dragon Sea, who would dare to attack the dragon boat? "We're not in a hurry." That was because on the Dragon Sea, dragons were godlike existences. Who would dare to attack them? The surrounding people laughed heartily. At this moment, the void shattered, and flames descended, enveloping the Saint Elder. In the next moment, a miserable voice sounded. Everyone was shocked. They discovered that the owner of the Saint ship had been destroyed. He was dead. The surrounding people were so frightened that they knelt on the ground, their faces pale. Who was it? They were too shocked. Previously, they were still saying that the Dragon Sea clan was a godlike existence here. But in the blink of an eye, a dragon elder was killed. It was a slap to everyone's face. Buried Emperor Star. Outer Realm. Now, another sun had appeared in the dark universe. The previous sun had been destroyed. Thus, the clans and sects of the buried Emperor Star joined hands to search for another sun. He even brought it over. The buried Emperor Star couldn't be without a sun. When the new sun appeared, everyone heaved a sigh of relief. At this moment, an expert from the Golden Crow race snorted coldly. If it weren't for our Golden Crow race, there wouldn't be a second sun on the buried Emperor Star. That's right, our Golden Crow clan has put in so much effort, aren't you going to express it? The surrounding people expressed their thanks to the Golden Crow clan for that matter. Many people even began to send congratulatory gifts. However, at this moment, the void cracked open, and an extremely terrifying attack descended, directly enveloping the people of the Golden Crow tribe. Who was it? The powerhouses of the Golden Crow tribe roared angrily and counterattacked. However, this attack was really too strong. In an instant, they were beaten into a bloody mist. Even their souls were annihilated. The other people were terrified. It was as if they were facing a great enemy. However, after waiting for a long time, they discovered that the enemy had already disappeared. Dead. The powerhouses of the Golden Crow race had all fallen. One hit, one kill. Who exactly was it? They were terrified. The successor of the Purple Mansion sect in Taiching Ancient City. He held a martial arts conference. Countless young geniuses gathered. The successor of the Purple Mansion sect fanned himself like an immortal. Countless people looked up to him. However, at this moment, the void cracked open, and a dagger chopped off his head. The corpse fell. Countless people were terrified. This news spread in all directions in an instant. When the others heard this, they were also shocked. Heavens, someone actually dared to make a move on these clans and sections. They discovered. The experts that died outside were all allies of the 10,000 Dragon Court. Could it be that someone wanted to make a move on the 10,000 Dragon Court? Who was it? Was it the Divine Union? Could it be that Lin Wuti was still alive? Or could it be that this was a trap all along? Countless crazy discussions spread. The 10,000 Dragon Court was also furious. As for their allies, the Purple Mansion sect, the Golden Crow tribe, the Blue tribe, and the other clans and sects suffered heavy losses. Their geniuses outside had fallen one after another. This made their hearts bleed. Come back quickly. They did not dare to be careless and hurriedly called back those people outside. In an instant, they were facing a great enemy. When the allies of the Divine Union heard this news, they raised their arms and cheered. Great! They deserved it. Kill them all and leave nothing behind. These people roared. They had also received the news of the Divine Dragon and secretly gathered their forces. In the Divine Union, Lin Xian, Monkey, and the others had all returned. Then, they all laughed heartily. In the past half a month, they had quickly attacked and killed many geniuses. It was enough to make their hearts ache. Next was the most important moment. Lin Xian knew that there would be an earth-shattering storm. However, he was not afraid. Murong Qingqing, Yan Ryu, and the others had also returned. They had already gathered many resources. The True Path sect had also finished their preparations. Even the other allies had also sent news. Lin Xian knew that it was time to start. Thus, he took the initiative to walk out of the Dao. Countless elites had gathered in the Sacred Origin ancient city. They were all investigating. However, the Dao had an ancient heritage after all. Thus, no one dared to act rashly. Just as they were thinking of a solution, someone suddenly exclaimed, "Look, someone from the True Path sect has come out." They realized that a few people from the True Path sect had walked out. The one at the front was actually Lin Xian. How could this be? It was really him. He was still alive. It couldn't be, right? I'm not dreaming, am I? An illusion. This must be an illusion. Exclamations rang out one after another. They were simply unable to believe it. When he heard these exclamations, the corners of Lin Xian's mouth curled up. He strolled outside leisurely. He even used his fists and legs in the open space. The radiance of the divine nine-yang body blossomed. Everyone was stunned. This was the divine nine-yang body. Heavens, it was really Lin Wudi. Only he had the divine nine-yang body. He was not dead. Quick! Send the news to the family. The people who had come to investigate all went crazy. Soon, the news was sent back. After the clan of the ancients, the great sects, and the monarch clans received the news, they were also dumbfounded. He was really not dead. Now that the array formation had been sent back, they saw the light of Lin Xian's divine nine-yang body on the array formation. They also sucked in a breath of cold air. It was really him. He was not dead. How was this possible? How did he survive? The Qilin sun roared crazily. Even an extreme weapon could not kill him. How terrifying was that? The Qilin clan expert said, "Your Highness, don't be anxious. Perhaps Lin Wudi was not in the Sun Palace at all." Yes, that must be it. He was definitely not in the Sun Palace. Otherwise, how could he still be alive? You're tuning into the LoveLore Library YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.